week. They fair caught a bounce kickoff at their one, were promptly strip sacked for a Stanford touchdown. No such concerns tonight as Wagner launches it out the back of the end zone. And here comes Ali Hado.
All eyes on that injured ankle early here, JB, and you can expect Danny Gonzalez, the defensive coordinator, and that Arizona Wildcats defense to try and test that early and often to see how it's going to hold up.
Now, Gonzalez, with so much respect for this young man, he knew. He said that dude would be out there in a boot if he has to and would still probably scramble for first downs when necessary. Landon Sims is the tailback, offset left. The run and shoot arrives in Tucson. The home opener, the 25 opener for Arizona. Hado does give, and a run stop to begin the night from the captain, Trey Smith. A redshirt senior from Mesa has been buzzing the tower of quarterbacks for better than a year now, but he shows his run strength to begin the night as you look at the rest of the Arizona starters on defense, including Genesis Smith, a fellow captain, in the back end.
That's a guy with a Sunday future you're going to want to keep an eye on. Number 12 in blue, going to be all over the field tonight for Arizona on defense.
Second down, the lefty from Las Vegas unloads early and it's dropped. Nick Senecal, part of a tandem, a receiving duo for Hawaii, the top returning tandem in college football, he and Pefele Ashlaw.
Led the team in receiving yards last season. Actually briefly entered the transfer portal in December and reportedly had Power 4 interest, but said, I want to be here, I can't leave my brothers, and now back to try and continue to forge that bond between quarterback and receivers that they think can be really potent with Alejado under center.
We briefly heard Stephen Barron, our referee there. Penalty was on Hawaii and declined by Arizona. So a chance to pitch a 3 and out to begin the night. The Bows were 3 of 10 on third down in week 0 against the Stanford Cardinal. Rallying from down 10-0 to win that one in walk-off fashion. Coming after Alejado. Deals to the sideline, knocked out before the line to gain. Uliata with the catch and an early decision for Timmy Chang. His offense inching towards the sideline, and it will give way.
And I think this is the right call, backed up here on your own end of the field. They did a great job on this third down of trying to get the pick play for their running back coming out of the backfield. You see Barfield here, and you've got Trey Smith trying to peel out from the middle of that blitz book. You've got man coverage. Someone's got to go out. He's able to sort through the trash and get him down just before that first down.
Billy Gowers, the freshman, albeit a 29-year-old freshman punter. It's a low liner. It takes a Hawai'i hop. Scooped up by Arizona receiver Jeremiah Patterson. He gets a block. The kicker throws him out across midfield. No flags down. Jeremiah Patterson sparks the night for Brent Brennan. And Jarvis Heimuli is down after covering this punt. A return of 42 yards.
Great job fielding right there, and unfortunately that looked like a non-contact injury for Heimuli, unfortunately, but just a great job fielding that line drive punt on the fly and kind of catching that punt coverage group a bit out of phase. Once you break through that first layer, it's nothing but daylight. A great touchdown saving tackle there and great starting field position for this Wildcats offense.
Now, Ali touched on in our pregame show the changes to the coaching staff, 3 new coordinators. Craig Niver, the dedicated special teams coach, what a start to his tenure.
And that matters a ton. Having someone whose day in, day out job it is to coach the finer details of the only phase that uses both sides of the ball.
All right, Jeremiah Patterson has Brennan teed up when we come back. Noah Fafita for his 3rd campaign. His first was record-setting. His second, regress, Mike.
And now without his top target from those seasons and a guy he knew very well in Tedero McMillan, who's here to be honored on the sideline, but won't be able to help them on the field anymore. A transfer portal haul of receivers hoping to help ignite this offense.
Seth Dagy's offense, new coordinator. It's a tight end, Tyler Powell, attaching to the right side of scrimmage as Fafita claps for the snap. Ricino gets the start in his backfield, moving the launch point. That ball's in trouble, but secured by the Cats. 6'4" Trey Spivey high points it. A gain of 27.
What a catch. First off, getting Noah Fifita on the move outside of the pocket, incredible. But then the ability to go up in traffic, what looked like an interception on the fly, turns into an incredible strong catch.
And they'll kill this first down snap. Timeout Hawaii. As the Cats already in the high red area. Again, our referee is Stephen Barron.
Prior to the penalty flag, Hawaii called timeout. Their first timeout of the half.
Likely to avoid a substitution infraction there before Arizona use some of its tempo, which you'll see a lot of this year.
That's going to be a weapon for both teams here, but we mentioned the catch. Great job and touch by Fifita outside of the pocket, but you see 3 Hawaii jerseys right there, and Spivey able to go up and just snag that thing out of the side. That's what wide receiver coach, when they talk about coming back to the football and attacking that, giving your quarterback that chance. An incredible athletic play to set them up down here close inside the red zone.
So, Mike, the question, can they lose a first-round pick and get better through the air? I would say it's almost the expectation here in 25 that they do.
You think about like the Ewing theory, right? Where everyone last year knew the ball was going to Teteroa McMillan, and then last year on non-McMillan receivers, Noah Fifita completed only 54% of his passes, and so having options like him, like Hudson, like Luke Wysong, the transfer from New Mexico, gives you more places to go and more for the defense to consider.
Redshirt freshman Brandon Phelps, part of the trip to the bottom of your screen. Also, Nunu Watley, the number 3 to that side. He's got speed to burn from the slot. Fifita will give it, and this should be a more determined running team this year. Kedrick Risino leads a 3-headed attack. Give Jaheim Wilson-Jones the tackle there for Hawaii. So here's a look at who's in and who's out in the receiving corps for Arizona. Not expecting to see Hudson tonight. I missed this opener with an injury, but definitely part of their plans. As Risino, bouncing off contact, uses that offhand to drill down to the 12-yard line. It'll be short yardage upcoming. Gain of 7, 3rd down. Tariq Jones makes the play on the Hawaii side. Risino stays in. Fifita with a quick snap. Staying with Risino. Skinny through the hole and into the end zone. From the 13, the first touchdown of 2025 belongs to Arizona and Kedrick Risino.
Well, JB, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We saw the hurry up, and we saw Arizona on offense go back-to-back zone read looks on that play to hold the backside of that defense with a player coming across the formation with the legs of Noah Fifita, and it parts the seas for Risino up the middle for an easy first score for the Wildcats offense.
The only scholarship returner at running back. And now the first extra point attempt of the career of Michael Salgado Medina, who won both the punting and place kicking competitions during summer camp. A 3-and-out on defense for the Cats.
You're going to watch Sam Olsen come across the formation right here as a part of this run pass option. Kicking out on the backside and snapping that off there. Just a great block. And the legs of Fifita, you see, holding the backside end, holding the backside safety, Kilinahi and Mendiola Jensen, and just giving so much space up the middle for that rushing attack.
So they get the 3-and-out stop on D and a 13-yard rushing touchdown. 4 plays, 47 yards after the phenomenal punt return by Jeremiah Patterson, and that's how the Cats begin a new campaign. Also want to point out it's Tristan Bounds, right, at that right tackle spot. Played the last 4 years at Michigan. Co-starter on the depth chart, Rhino Tapatotai, is not going to be dressed tonight. But Arizona feels like they're starting to get healthy right as the season arrives, and they should have like a wave of reinforcements almost come conference time. Yeah,
we talked about the receiver losses, but having 8 different starting offensive line combinations going to make it really difficult for your quarterback to get in sync with anyone in that group.
Ian Wagner with another booming ball off the tee and another touchback. And let's see what Micah Alejado can do in terms of adjustments in this Anthony Arsenault offense with Timmy Chang calling the plays.
Yeah, we saw that rushing attack from Arizona on the other side, and when we talked to Anthony Arsenault about that element of Hawaii and the run and shoot, he said, make no mistake, the best versions of this offense in the past have still featured a ground game that can be impactful at the time. Now, last week we saw that mostly with Micah Alejado's legs, scrambles of 30 yards and 12 yards on the 2 scoring drives. Remains to be seen if he's going to feel comfortable taking off on that ankle tonight and giving them that same element.
So Arizona sets the tone with a rushing touchdown. Alejado gives to Sims. Stacked up by a vastly improved defensive front. You were probably with us earlier when Heimuli took that non-contact injury trying to cover that punt. Ali, any update from down on the field?
Well, Heimuli was in a lot of pain as they were trying to work on his right knee on the training table, and I spoke with the head athletic trainer, Brian Wong. He told me it's a right knee sprain, and he will not be returning to this game.
That's the brother of Pefele Ashlock, who's part of this talented receiving corps. Second possession for the Rainbow Warriors. Gain of 3 on the ground, now 2nd and 7. Cats creeping. The check of the box counts. They're coming after Alejado. Hits the crosser. That's complete. And it's a first down. Senecal flung out of bounds on a physical play. They love the safeties here in Tucson. Dalton Johnson and Jennison Smith, a couple of captains. It's a gain of 11 and a new set of downs.
And an incredible job by this offensive line and backfield picking up that pressure. Mike Alejado using that snap count, giving his offensive line a look at the picture, and Landon Sims doing a great job being dialed in with that group and giving him time to get the pass off.
He's in his 5th year, Mike. He's played tight end, he's played linebacker, and he brought some of that skill set to pass pro. So Hawaii moves the chains. Alejado taking that play clock down to single digits. And this is what Arizona wants. They want to dare Hawaii to hand it off and to run the football.
Yeah, we talked to Danny Gonzalez, and he said, we want to show them different pictures before the snap, but then always end up with numbers in the box to be able to go and handle what they throw at us. And you've seen this early on. Light box looks, 4 or 5 defenders at times, but then these safeties crashing down late. Guys like Dalton Johnson, who can kind of operate in that role, in that hook area down by the line of scrimmage, going to have to make plays and run support.
11 to the ball in bad humor. That's the rallying cry for this Arizona defense. It's cliche, but definitely tired of hitting their teammates. Glad to have an opponent in town tonight. Up the middle they run to midfield, bouncing off contact and close to the line again. Barfield may have another first down. He does. They move the sticks.
And Hawaii happy to accept that dare, right? We've seen plenty of runs. If you're going to continue to give them these lighter box looks with fewer defenders and they believe they've got numbers, they'll keep handing off the rock and taking 4 or 5 yards at a clip, knowing eventually if you get enough of those and trickle down, another safety rotates down near the box, and now all of a sudden Alejado gets a chance to take a shot downfield.
Watch 12 in blue. That's the safety. So it's a matchup of 12. It's a little cat and mouse game between QB1 for Hawaii and the talented safety for Arizona. Well protected here. Back to the crosser. Carson Papunu paid the price. Picks up 7 through the air. Max Harris closing quickly.
And you saw Genesis Smith down there trying to deliver the blow, and it ends up going the other way as we've got a late flag down on the field now.
Sideline warning on the Hawaii bench. This is a warning. There is no yardage for this penalty.
Look at Timmy Chang, 43 years of age. The last couple of years, they have just missed bowl eligibility with 5 wins. Last year, 3 losses by 3 points or fewer. I'm sure for fans of Hawaii, it felt good to come out on the winning end of a 1-score game last week at home.
Yeah, that felt like the signature win of the Timmy Chang era. And so now this opportunity on the road against another A4 opponent feels like a chance to really continue to grab that positive momentum before they get ready to head into conference play.
Picked 7th out of 12 in the Mountain West this year. Boise State, UNLV the favorites. Again, the Cats creeping, showing blitz. Testing the redshirt freshman quarterback. And squeezing down from the corner position to tackle that run. And Tay Brown from the inside, Dansby from the outside. It's a gain of 4 and a new first down.
This has felt like a waltz on this drive. You've seen Arizona go with field pressure on multiple snaps here in this drive. And Hawaii content to just sit back, call that a key motion. You just flip the running back from one side to the other and run away from the pressure to try and seam the defense and get an easy pop in the backfield from Cam Barfield.
Doing well to move the ball without their starting right guard, Kuau Pehopa. It's Chuda Paio in his place again for the 2nd week in a row. Short clock here from Micah Alejado. Spits it out left side. Pofele Ashlock has a catch. But again, Arizona swarming defensively. You saw 41. Hawai'i celebrating the tackle.
First time we've called Ashlock's name tonight. Led the team in receiving yards last year, or excuse me, was tied for 7th in the Mountain West in receiving touchdowns last year with Nick Senecal, his teammate. But an incredibly springy, explosive athlete that you want to get the ball and let him work in space.
After they went 3 and out and punted on their first possession, this will be the 8th play of the second drive for Hawaii. Looking to answer the rushing touchdown from Arizona. Here comes the blitz. He stands in and deals to no one in particular. As they heat up his pocket, Alihado decked.
And again, we're seeing a lot of field pressures coming from that left side for Alihado. And so he's got to drift right, but it actually sneaks through. Tay Brown does a great job getting in the quarterback's face and forcing an errant throw. As again, Arizona, they're coming after him. They want to see, how can he move? Is he going to be able to absorb contact? I think that's why you've seen Danny Gonzalez go with so much pressure this drive. Let's see if he uses all that pressure to now drop 8 and all of a sudden cloud these throwing lanes for Alihado.
Quickly, physically, have you seen anything yet? Any impairment?
Nothing so far.
His scrambling, such a weapon. Back outside the numbers. No flag down on what looked like it could have been a face mask as Pofele Ashlock slipped down that Arizona sideline and is able to convert on 3rd down and long.
We talked about it before, that run game, getting all those numbers in there. And so now you've got a D lineman, number 44, Malachi Bailey, dropping out late on a side where they've got a numbers advantage with the receivers and an easy 1st down pitch and catch.
It's a huge pickup. Not sure they were in reasonable field goal range yet, but now they are with a new set of downs. Marching to the 28 of Arizona. 9 plays, 38 yards, and they picked up 3 first downs on this trip. They run it through the left side, and there's been a good mix offensively for Timmy Chang calling plays. I'm seeing Cam Barfield and Landon Sims in the backfield. Landon's dad, Travis, set the single-season rushing record back in 1992 at Hawaii, and he wears his number 30.
And he's getting a lot of action carrying the football. Saw him more in a pass protection role last week. A lot of check and release, seeing if anyone's coming and then getting out into the passing lanes. Try and be an extra set of hands for his quarterback.
6 minutes of sustained possession now for the Rainbow Warriors. Inside of 6 minutes to go in our opening frame. Check it down. Sims behind his pads. Below the 20, another first down at the 16. Ran into Max Harris. It's a gain of 10.
And right there we see Sims again looking inside, seeing if any help is needed protection-wise, and then getting himself into the flat right across this formation, checks, turns his eyes to the quarterback, and then gets upfield for another first down.
Now, last year, the story of Arizona defensively, they lost 3 captains to injuries and just didn't have the depth. They poured into their trenches with 10 new scholarship defensive linemen. But in the heat, we kicked off at 94 degrees. That depth already being tested. 12th play of the drive. Alihado takes off. Can't get to the edge and lives to see 3rd down. Leroy Palu doing well to put the pressure on.
And that's the first play where I think we saw the limitations right there when he gets to the perimeter. Just a little stunt on the left side, some leakage at the end. And right here, instead of trying to maybe press the edge or stretch the line, he understands, hey, I'm not 100% right now. Let me get the ball out of bounds and live to fight another day. That's a mature player as just a redshirt freshman to understand his physical limitations right now and understand the opportunity they have here in the red zone.
2nd down in the full 6. A 2-back look here. They've got Barfield and Sims in with 3 receivers in formation. Alihado looking right all the way. Dropped by Barfield, leaking out at the 20, and now it's 3rd and long in the high red area from Micah Alihado.
Yeah, JB, it was interesting to see them abandon the run down here. It's what had gotten them so far on this drive. You still have had a lot of 3-down looks with a jack player, either a D-line body or a linebacker who's a known rusher lurking around the line of scrimmage. Those could be great opportunities for the offensive line to catch the defense moving and flip. Let's see right here if they get another light box look, if maybe they hand it off, and we're looking at 4-down territory for them if they get enough of a gain on this play.
Bows began this drive back at their own 25. They've picked up 5 first downs along the way. And a stoppage before 3rd and 10. Another timeout for Timmy Chen.
Hawaii has called their second timeout of the half.
Holds the UH record for career passing yards, so holds the FBS record for career pass attempts. What a head coach and play caller and mentor for Micah Alihado. Playing on a bad wheel, but he's got a chance to tie it up when we continue. A 13-play, 59-yard drive. Mike, they've got 3rd and 10 in the red zone.
Yeah, I think you got to give your quarterback a chance to take a shot at the end zone here. He's shown the maturity to understand if it's not there and they drop in coverage, air it out, live to fight another down and kick the field goal.
They do stick with the 2-back look. Barfield and Sims flanking Micah Alihado. He's 6 of 10 for 44 yards so far. Needs the 6 or a touchdown. Rips one. End zone. Caught! No, it's busted up. Arizona making the case it's incomplete. Initial signal touchdown. They change it incomplete. It's 4th down.
Incredible play design. Trying to get Cam Barfield on the safety out of the backfield. You keep Sims in as a great pass protector in the rip. But Genesis Smith comes in and puts an absolute hit right in that small of the back. That's a painful shot. Glad to see Barfield getting up on his own, but what a hit by 12 in blue, who we said is going to be all over the field tonight.
And so last week's hero, Kansei Matsuzawa, self-taught via YouTube, a 38-yard walk-off winner to beat Stanford, 34 here to get Hawaii on the board at Arizona. 14 plays, 59 yards, more than 7 minutes of possession. But Hawaii has to settle for 3 as Genesis Smith saves the day with a big hit at the goal.
Stanford last week was kicker Kansei Matsuzawa, who just put 3 on the board for them right before our last break. His story is incredible, and he was kind enough to share it with me. He's a Tokyo native, and football was never his dream growing up or even on his radar at all. He told me his dream was actually to play soccer in college in Japan, but he failed his classes. He called it the bottom point of his life. He said, quote, "I had no energy, and my dad told me to get out of the country, see what else was going on in the world. He handed me the plane tickets, and I left." That is when he saw his first football game, gentlemen. In 2018 is when he witnessed his first game. It was an Oakland Raiders game. He loved the showmanship, he loved the entertainment value, and from then on, he focused on becoming a kicker. The best part is when he came to Hawaii, he remembers last year being the backup, and the kicker had 2 game-winning field goals, and he said, that's going to be me one day. So he told me last week when he was able to return that favor for the program, it was the best moment of his entire life.
Wow, Allie, amazing follow-up context to what was a viral sensation a week ago. Now on the road at Arizona, he's got his team on the board. Noah Fafita back at the switch for Arizona. Here's the touchdown score. A returning scholarship running back, now a junior, Kedrick Risino. Second year with the Cats after transferring from Ole Miss. One other thing on Kansei, he said he was actually more nervous going to the presser to put his English on display after kicking the game winner than he was to line up and try and beat Stanford. Flag down and a penalty against Arizona before they get this snap away.
Illegal shift. Offense. Not all 11 players were set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, with Matsuzawa, it's a reminder of just how many things you can learn to do on YouTube. I was so close to fixing my own toilet at home about a month ago, and I chickened out. Thankfully, he followed through, and now he gets to be the hero of week 0 that everyone's talking about.
How about being on the short list of people to walk into the black hole and escape with some success?
Exactly. Most of my Raiders friends, they come out feeling worse.
Just outside of 4 minutes to go. First quarter action here. Risino still the back for Fafita. Brings the tight end Olsen in motion. They sell out against the run, and Hawaii hits it. Well, last week's game saver, Mendiola Jensen, got his first career interception, Mike. It was deep in the 4th quarter. I know you were watching. Hawaii's back against the wall, and he got a game ball with that pick.
The interception there, but coming up here and making the thud, blitzing off the short side of the field, making a great form tackle. That's a guy who can do it all for you on the back end.
Arizona picked up its 1 3rd down on its opening drive, ripping one to the far sideline. just off the mark, incomplete. Fafita decked behind the play. And a good look here at Isaiah Mizell, a freshman from Orlando.
Just out of those outstretched hands. Give credit to Hawaii. That was pressure off a four-man pass rush. He had some stunts up front. They're able to get in Fafita's face just enough to affect a quarterback that we talk about is on the shorter side, and so has to push and air it out a little bit more, and that ball sails just out of reach.
Salgado Medina is the Arizona punter. Tama Uliata is the punt returner as the Bows nearly get there. It's a good punt. Nice spiral. Nose turns over. Fielded on the 21 with a fair catch. Let's go back down to Ali.
Well, there's a lot of layers to this matchup, gentlemen. This game is between two programs who are both coached by the legendary head coach Dick Tomey. He passed away in Tucson on May 10th in 2019. He got his first head coaching job with Hawaii in 1977, leading them to the first top 20 AP ranking in 81. He was named the Western Athletic Conference Coach of the Year in 81, coached through the 86 season, leaving as the program's winningest coach. That is when he took over the head coaching job at Arizona. He helped lead the Wildcats to their best season in program history. They were 12-1, ended that year number 4 in the AP poll. He also left Arizona as the program's winningest coach, developing a reputation for one of the nation's best defenses, which, if you remember, was nicknamed the Desert Swarm. But I think the best compliment was definitely what Coach Brennan said every single day. I think, what would Coach T do? It's a pretty good one.
Friendly Ashlock with a quick gain catch there and a gain of a couple. Yeah, these coaching staffs like each other. The way that Timmy Chang put it, this whole staff, speaking of Arizona, when we see each other, it's hugs and beers. Like, they're a good group of dudes, and I think that was reflected from Danny Gonzalez and the Arizona side. We should also point out this Pacific Islander Heritage Night, so there's just been so many things stitching this open game for Arizona together.
Yeah, you see the love on display here, and Coach Tomey is credited with bringing that Polynesian pipeline to Arizona, and Brent Brennan, who had 2 stints under him as a coach, certainly proud of being able to continue what Coach Tomey built here.
And first cousin of the late Hawaii legend Colt Brennan. We'll talk more about that as tonight goes along. After a field goal drive, back to work. You know, Hawaii was ground down a bit by the run game of Stanford and sustained possessions. They're delivering a dose of that to Arizona now in back-to-back possessions, a gain of 5 here.
They went full Kirby and just swallowed and absorbed the ability now. And you know, this is what happens. Anthony Arsenault was the running backs coach last year, gets promoted to offensive coordinator. Obviously, Timmy Chang is still calling the plays, but you could see that influence. And when you're a position player and you see your coach get elevated like that, you know coach is going to have you in mind when he's in Timmy Chang's ear during the week putting together this plan.
Already 7 carries for this Hawaii backfield. 3rd down and short. Play clock at 5. Alihado claps for the snap. Thought about using his feet, uses his tailback instead. Well orchestrated. David Cordero, an extra tailback with 11 on the catch and run.
Yeah, you're going to watch him come across the formation and just leak out right here. You've got the blitz coming up the middle from Arizona. And so with all those bodies sucked down inside, he's able to sneak out to the edge. A great easy pitch and catch from Alihado. And another 1st down, basically like an extension of a run, JB, on that play.
I think it's safe to say he does not want to leave the pocket. Unless forced to, unless game on the line, he's a reluctant runner so far tonight from what we've seen. But that's okay. He's playing point guard.
And playing it very well. The confidence for a redshirt freshman is remarkable.
A 3-by-1. He flips the back to his left side. Cordero at the mesh point. Takes that handoff and gets about 4.
I tell you what, JB, at some point, Arizona and Danny Gonzalez are going to have to commit more guys to the box because death by 1,000 cuts, this 4 yards in a time for Hawaii. I understand you can bend, don't break, and once you get down to the red zone, we saw them able to hold them to a field goal. But that's a lot of miles on your defense that's going to add up on a hot night in their legs later and later in this game.
Hawaii going no huddle, but been very deliberate at the line of scrimmage, giving Alihado all the time he needs. His communication system is live up until 15 seconds on the play clock. So getting a lot of inputs and now settling in with 2. Able to beat that buzzer, and another running play right side. This time Arizona stacks it up. It could take us to the 2nd quarter with 3rd down awaiting. Tia Savea with the tackle, and Arizona has a chance to get off the grass. A 33-yard field goal for Hawaii. Here comes the 2nd frame. With the Rainbow Warriors approaching midfield, facing 3rd down and 5. They've been using all of the snap clock. Trips left. Middle give. Landon Sims with a full head of steam, and he moves the chains. All right, with a couple of Ring of Honorees, let's go down to Allie LaForce.
That's right. I'm here with Tet and Randy. What an honor. And Randy, I mean, I've been listening to the conversations around the stadium talk about your heydays here and just wondering what it's been like for you to hear all of the love and see the support and get out there on the field and give one last wave to everybody.
Well, you know, that's why I went to this school, you know, because they do support us, the football program. They've done it through the years, and even right now with T-Mac. So I love playing here. I had a great time.
Well, they love having you. And T-Mac, it's so great. Is it okay if I call you T-Mac, by the way?
Yeah.
I should have asked your permission first. But now a rookie in the NFL, I mean, it's so exciting. Your first big game's coming up, and the reports from camp surrounding your performance so far have just been tremendous. What's it been like to take it to the next level and then come back where it all started?
Oh, man, it's a blessing. Like you said, this is where it all started. This is home for me, so, you know, I wouldn't be here without the University of Arizona, man. I'm just so blessed, and, you know, it's my obligation to give back to, you know, what created me ultimately. So, man, I'm just so blessed, so grateful, man, and, you know, bear down, go Cats.
Absolutely. You will be very busy, and you won't be able to get back often, so you two enjoy every single snap, and I appreciate you giving me time. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Allie. Yeah, first time since middle school that Noah Fifita hasn't been able to throw that man the football here tonight. His lefty counterpart spins one out to the numbers. Big time throw from the middle of the field. Brandon White is a junior from Cincinnati. Is nursing something week to week, but he's got a 7-yard reception to set up 3rd down and manageable.
That's a great job on this last play. Again, we talked about maybe the lack of mobility, but right here, just a nice easy half roll designed to get him going a little bit towards that left. Just put a little bit of that movement on display, but a great pitch and catch. He's been in total command of this offense tonight.
Yeah, a little shoot to go with the run in this run and shoot. We've seen 11 handoffs, 14 pass attempts from Micah Alejado. Got a field goal last time they had their hands on it, looking to keep this drive alive. 9th play of the march. Blitz in his lap. Time running out. Walls caving in, and Alejado has to eat it. Danny Gonzalez sends them all and knocks him back, a loss of 7.
And with a quarterback that is slippery and can get out of the pocket, it's always important you maintain the rush lanes. And you're going to see this Arizona rushing attack when we run it right here. Everyone getting upfield, everyone maintaining their discipline so that when all of a sudden he spills into your gap, you've got Chase Kennedy waiting right there with open arms and not letting him wiggle through for a big play.
Tia Savea was in there, but he had a lot of help. Look at the Cats celebrate.
That last play, watch these two right here in Chase Kennedy and Tia Savea. The initial pressure from Savea forces Alejado up, and then the rip from Kennedy jars the ball loose and gives this Wildcats offense another crack at it.
Yeah, so what was good, a 3rd down sack when we left you, goes to great as Chase Kennedy takes it away. And phenomenal starting field position for Noah Fifita. With a 7-3 lead from empty. Short set, knocked off his spot. Fifita shoved out with a short gain. They've talked about him being a little bit more dynamic with his feet, part of it by design, part of it just extending plays and keeping his options alive.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see Seth Dagey last year in his season of the offensive coordinator and play caller at Marshall utilized quarterback run a lot with multiple quarterbacks and said Noah put on some weight this offseason. He's got the ability to be a press runner. We haven't seen it in the design game just yet.
He did not shy away from setting expectations for Noah this season. More on that after this run. Quincy Craig breaks it to daylight, to the 10, to the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. The 1K back from Portland State with a 54-yard house call in his debut.
And absolutely gorgeous blocking from this offensive line. We talked about banged up a year ago, but this time laying the wood on their side there. We mentioned that run game for Hawaii, but Arizona getting downhill off the turnover. And an explosive in the run game. What an incredible shot of life. Look at the backside. You're going to get the pull and kick out underneath here. A counter run, 2 backside pullers working inside out. You see that guard get just enough of the linebacker to spring his back through.
So 2 plays after that forced fumble on Chase Kennedy's pass rush. The first touch for Quincy Craig here in Tucson goes the distance, 54 yards.
And a great job by Ty Buchanan, the left tackle. Gets just enough of Jalen Smith at linebacker. And when you get a running back that's willing to hug it up inside those A-gaps on gap runs, on a big, heavy downhill counter run, you make one man miss, and all of a sudden it is daylight to the second and third level.
He actually played as a slot receiver, did Quincy, in his prep days for Modern Day, a national championship program in Southern California. So growing up, he's battled Fafita throughout his youth football and his high school days. Now they've joined forces at Arizona.
It's incredible, and it's all part of the brotherhood for all these guys. It's why you see guys on these 2 teams that know a lot about each other. You've got some like Kayana DeCambra, the center for Arizona, who played at Hawaii in his last few seasons. And so having that familiarity with guys that you've seen in high school, on the recruiting trail, or in your own locker room before, add that next level of intensity to a game that already had plenty going in, being game number 1 for Arizona this season.
It's a huge momentum shift as Hawaii had cracked midfield with the chance to go take the lead. The first takeaway of the season for this Danny Gonzalez defense, and then another rushing touchdown for Arizona. Do not miss HBO's next big Sunday night drama, Task. From the creator of Mayor of Easttown, starring Mark Ruffalo and Tom Pelphrey, Task premieres next Sunday on HBO Max.
I wonder if there'll be as much Delco accent in this one as Mayor of Easttown. It was a great show.
I like that one too.
Heavy accent. Beautiful part of the country. As it is out here, as Micah Alejado now tries to make up for that turnover, see if they can make some plays. It's been slow and steady until they got to the red zone. Let's see if they can air it out a little bit and pull back some of the teeth from this defense that's been bearing down.
4-man rush, spits it out to the numbers. Nice catch, making the first man miss. Jackson Harris, a sophomore with some shiftiness. It's a gain of 11. And the game script has changed too. Right now down 14-3. They're almost forced to not abandon the running game, but open it up a bit more.
Yep, you got to create some wiggle room and some explosives like the one you just saw for Arizona. Great job by Harris there. Career high 6 catches for 59 yards last week against his former school in Stanford. So a nice revenge game for him, and now a chance to build on that. That jump from week 1 to week 2, every coach talks about it. Always the biggest you'll see all season once you've had chance to go back and study that tape.
A 3-by-1 with the trip to the field side, the right side of Alejado. Lefty wants to unload quickly, nowhere to go, and he's tracked down from behind. Jabari Mann with the sack.
Woo, and he lays the lumber. Matched up with Landon Sims on the right side of your screen. You're going to see back on backer here. And he lays the wood, and Alejado just tripped up a little bit. You saw him with plenty of daylight, and who knows if it's the ankle, who knows if it's just the turf monster, but that little bit of a hiccup right there gave Mann a chance to track him down from the back.
Puts Hawaii behind the sticks. 2nd down and long. 4 minutes into our second. Play action to no one, and Alejado has to take a seat. All of a sudden, Pese and the Cats are swarming.
Well, this is what Danny Gonzalez talked about, showing him a lot of different pictures, moving the frame around, whether it's a lineman or a backer, walking around, lurking up front. You see the safety rotation a little late in this snap as Genesis Smith creeps down into the box. And so all of a sudden, what he's seeing before the snap and what he's seeing after the snap, complicating that read process and giving this defense a chance to get home.
Oh, shout out to defensive line coach Joe Salavea as well. What an acquisition this offseason for this Arizona staff. He's a legend here and across college football. He produces pros at Miami, at Oregon, at Washington State, and maybe soon here in the desert as well. Timeout, Hawaii, their last, with 10 minutes still to go in the half.
Final timeout of the half.
I think you wonder if Timmy Chang feels the gravity of this moment a little bit. Teetering on the edge, a big play from Arizona off the turnover on the last drive, and understanding, hey, they need to dial up their best 3rd and long play that they've got on the card to try and give them a chance of extending this drive and giving their defense a chance to catch their breath.
Last week we mentioned it. Just a botched opening kickoff fielded at their 1-yard line turned into a strip sack touchdown for Stanford, and next thing you knew they were down 10-0 before their season even began in week 0, and they just kept hanging on and getting stops deep in their own territory, and next thing you know, an interception and a couple of fourth-quarter field goals, and they're 1-0.
And that's a great reminder at this moment in time. Hawaii's not nervous about being down. They started the season in rock bottom. It can't get much worse than that. And so now if you're the Rainbow Warriors, you go over to the sideline, Timmy Chang gets everyone to take a deep breath and calm down, and you reset and reload for the next play.
Zona Zoo is rocking. Tucson feeling the momentum. Landon Sims in to protect for Alejado, has time to deal. That's caught. It's short of the sticks. Brandon White had to go airborne, and now they say it's incomplete. Jarred loose before he could possess it. It's 4th down.
This Arizona secondary is out here hitting. What a throw by Alejado to get it all the way over there. But then you see Gavin Hunter, who this coaching staff talked really highly of, his maturity over this last year, now thriving in that nickel role as they've had some injuries on the back end. Him creating that depth has allowed them to really shore up this back end, and we've seen them playing very sure of themselves so far.
I'll mention here that Gavin Hunter, big night for him. He's from Oahu, making his first career start. Danny Gonzalez said give him a ton of credit. He's really grown up. But went to Ilani High School, about 10 miles from the UH campus. And we should point out for Arizona fans as well that Traden Stooks still rehabbing, hopefully getting close. But he's not going to go tonight. Marquise Groves Killebrew also not going to go tonight. So you'll see a lot of Hunter and Dansby in that secondary.
Boy, it was such an impressive throw, and if he held on, what a decision they were going to have to make. I think that would have been go territory given the game script that we've had so far. And instead now you're punting the ball back, counting on your defense to go back and all of a sudden maybe change the picture themselves. You know, we talked to Dennis Thurman, the defensive coordinator for Hawaii, who spent most of his career in coaching in the NFL, coaching for teams like the Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, with some all-time greats there, and said you don't want to overload these guys with too much, but you want to have just enough to force the offense to be concerned with it. We've seen a lot of those 4-down fronts. Maybe you mix it up, give them some 3-down looks to try and slow down this Arizona offense after a great last drive.
Billy Gowers already has a 67-yard punt to his credit so far this season. And Patterson did damage with his first return attempt. Get another look here to his own sideline and spun out of bounds before he reaches the 35-yard line. 14-3, Arizona coming off another touchdown, and you are watching Big 12 football on TNT Sports, presented by Modelo. Disadvantage for Hawaii to have already played in week 0. Whatever the case may be, Arizona's on the front foot now.
And they've done it on the ground. Both scores, rushing touchdowns. They've leaned on that aspect of their game so far.
Ismail Mahdi takes his turn in a 3-man committee backfield. Flag soar, and they rob Fafita, I think, a chance to go vertical. He had a ton of speed lined up out to his right. He's only had 2 passing attempts so far, Mike.
Thought that was going to be the old Aaron Rodgers free play right there. I'm sure that's why Brent Brennan's a little hot on the sideline. Thought his quarterback was going to have a chance to hoist one.
So out to his right, just for context, Isaiah Mizell, who might be the fastest Arizona Wildcat. I know you play EA Sports College Football. He's
Defense
a 95 speed rating there, Mike.
5-yard penalty, first down.
And if he's not the fastest, Nunu Watley, who is also to that side, is.
I'm sure Fafita was salivating right there.
The game clock to 9:51, 9:51.
Carson Stoklinski, a converted offensive lineman with that infraction on the Hawaii defensive front.
Always give my dad a lot of grief, former NFL defensive tackle. You're right over the ball. That's a tough one to explain back on the sideline.
That is Nunu Watley in motion. He takes it on a jet sweep. Needed one more block. Stood up at the 40. Next level speed for the redshirt senior, something Arizona really prioritized at receiver in the portal this offseason. He's got over 2,000 career yards, a dozen touchdowns in 3 seasons at Chattanooga.
And I think that's kind of the common theme, the speed, but also the experience. These were guys at other schools that were productive players, that were integral in their offenses last year, that can come over and have the maturity to slot in faster.
Fifita takes a long look from empty. 3 to his right, 2 into the boundary. Hawai'i coming after him. Unloads middle and just missed that slant. Big catch radius from Trey Spivey, and he couldn't bring that one in.
We mentioned it coming into this drive, but you're seeing Hawai'i change the shape up front a little bit. 5 down, so you've got one-on-one matchups across the board. Kaeo Kana on the right side, able to get a little bit of pressure in the face of the quarterback, where, again, we've seen Fifita sail some balls when that's been the case.
Mizell was the target there, so giving the freshman from Orlando a ball. Nine to snap it as we approach the 9-minute mark. Quincy Craig, who just scored a long touchdown, is in the backfield. 3rd down, Fifita needs 5. Against a 4-man rush, well protected. Long ball to the numbers, tipped and caught! Arizona got that in the hands of Mizell. The 4-star recruit juggles and secures.
The height, the concentration, tapped it, and then got back underneath with 2 defenders in his face. And Arizona getting up to the line quick, trying to go 4th and short.
They will snap it. They will run it. They will move the chains, and by a shoelace, Peter Manuma kept Quincy Craig from going the distance again.
Go back to this Isaiah Mizell catch. Seeing that hitch coming all the way back here, attacking the football again, a theme we've seen tonight for the Arizona receivers. And then getting up to the line quick that next play to get the easy 1st down. And if you didn't have that tackle by Peter Manuma, he might have been off to the races again.
That was Quincy Craig motioning to empty. He's atop your screen now. Fifita from empty, clicks through that progression and misses over the middle once more. Sam Olson, a redshirt senior tight end, was the intended receiver.
Great coverage on that play by Jahiem Otis, or Jahmai Otis, Jahmai Otis, excuse me. On that play, they really love this linebacker core. Jalen Smith, Jahmai Otis, a lot of continuity and a brotherhood between those two. Got away with a little hold there, a tug on the backside of the jersey. The umpire may be more concerned with not taking that football to the face.
He was dodging it, wasn't he? Couldn't get the flag out of his belt. Across midfield, 2nd in the full chains. Fifita spins one, that time, on target, and the first catch for Luke Wysong. Wysong comes over from New Mexico after having a big night here as an opponent last season.
Run pass option, they got the counter blocking up front. What a hit. Delivered on Fifita on that play by Jalen Smith, the blitzing linebacker, but stands in, delivers that quick out to Wysong, and now you've got a 3rd and manageable here that gives you plenty of options because this is 4-down territory.
Wysong, one of those, if you can't stop him, why not recruit him stories.
Had a phenomenal game against the Wildcats last year. 8 receptions for 129 yards and a touchdown. They said, we like that. We'll take some more.
Flag down on a 3rd down gun run, fighting for the 40. That will not be enough. There may be a neutral zone infraction. Kendrick Risano with the carry. You saw 2 tight ends on the field there, so Seth Deggy has his own flavor of air raid influences that he mixes together to create this Arizona offense.
Offside defense in the neutral zone of the snap. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
And by mixing up the tempos on the offense, you see Dejon Benton right there with the guilty party. You mix up the cadence and the tempo on the offense, it gets the defense very out of sorts. And now all of a sudden you're trying to be aggressive, you're trying to time the snap count, and you end up giving them a free set of downs.
Risano offset left. He's got a 13-yard touchdown from back in the 1st quarter. Off the play fake. Deep drop, Fifita. Rips one on the sideline. Tiptoeing out of bounds with the catch. Nunu Watley. Good for 27 yards.
An incredible corner route by Watley. And what a ball by Fifita. You're going to see the defensive back dropping underneath right there. Verdell Edwards trying to come back over the top, but he gets it just over the outstretched arms. Of Elijah Palmer at nickel. But a great layered throw over the top to set him up inside the 10.
Look at all the operational control that Noah Fifita has at the line of scrimmage. Coach is praising his football smarts. Opts to give it to Risano. Contact balance. Flag comes in. He's dragged down inside the 5. Peter Manuma kept him out of the end zone. We'll see about the penalty.
Yeah, they went back to that same counter run that Quincy Craig scored on earlier. But when you see that bounce to the outside like that on gap plays, a lot of times that's usually someone grabbing onto a little bit of jersey when all of a sudden the running back abandons that hole on the inside.
Holding. Offense, number 17, 10-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Mizell, the freshman, trying to block out in space there. You saw Manuma coming off the field after making that play. So at least for the moment, Arizona's going up against a defense without its captain.
He's a guy they said never comes off the field. He's the heart and soul of Hawaii football. And this, again, great effort trying to keep his feet moving, extend the play. But once that bounces and is off schedule timing-wise, it puts an added stress on everyone.
Amadi's the back, but he's split out left of Fifita. They hit the 6-minute mark here. This is the 9th play of the Arizona drive. Fifita from a muddy pocket shoots beneath the crossbar. It'll be second down. Trey Spivey was the look there.
Great coverage by Elijah Palmer, just staying in phase with him down here. Talk about it all time in the red zone, but all the windows start to shrink. The timing a little bit different. You saw Fifita buying time up into the pocket a little bit as things started bearing down around him.
Talk about the timing. He's not sped up. Don't mishear me here. No. But he is clicking through faster. His time to throw was an issue last year. It's not been so far tonight. Sinks to throw. Sets up the screen. Madi leaking out. Could not get away. It's a fine play by Elijah Palmer. -3.
The honorable mention, all Mountain West performer last season. Palmer just doing a great job tracking right there. They brought the tight end down in motion at the snap and had him going across the formation trying to pull everyone's eyes and leaked the running back out the backside. He stayed home. He pulled the trigger and was able to beat the offensive lineman out to the side.
What do you like here? 3rd and goal from almost your 20.
I'd like to get Fifita on the move a little bit, give him a little half roll.
He's blocking now for Risano, and nothing doing there. Jemai Otis joining the tackling effort. That is a really big stand for Hawaii on a short field.
Huge job there, just a 3-man rush up front, but able to be disruptive enough. You see Dejon Benton there on the stunt, able to get upfield, create penetration. I don't know about that call there. A little too conservative for me. You got a chance to really deliver a dagger here. You got a veteran quarterback that you trust and a receiver group that's been clicking a lot more. You mentioned it had been the run game prior. I'm surprised they didn't take a shot at the end zone.
So with his predecessor, Tyler Loop, now the Baltimore Ravens kicker, in attendance tonight, here's the first collegiate field goal attempt for Michael Salgado Medina from 35. Somewhere Loop is smiling. He's an honorary captain tonight before he begins his NFL career next week. Arizona adds to its lead, 17-3, but the Bows stand tall in the red zone. Big holiday weekend here in Tucson. First week of school wrapping up. Arizona with a 17-3 lead on Hawaii. Ian Wagner, kickoff specialist, spoiling another return hope.
JB, so far in this game, we've seen Arizona on defense able to speed up Micah Alejado. Some drops early here, pressure applied, trying to test the durability of that ankle. And right here you see just gives out on him with a chance to leak off and maybe spring one of those big scramble runs that helped them last week, and just out of sorts on that last drive. Once this Wildcat defense, commanded by Danny Gonzalez again, was able to present a bunch of different looks that finally seemed to rattle the often unflappable Alejado.
Yeah. They had that lost fumble, also a 3-and-out the last couple of possessions. We'll see if Arizona defensively has solved the puzzle here, clogging up the supply channels through the air for Micah Alejado, who's now 10 of 16 for 74 yards and cannot beat the clock here. At the outset of a new drive, they're going backward. Remember, they exhausted their timeout supply at about the 10-minute mark.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Tough start to the drive going backwards right there. As we hear them throw it in reverse in the stadium. With this defense right now, really interesting to look. You see right here, number 44, D-line body, Malachi Bailey. Call him the jack. You got to account for him. They put him off the line of scrimmage to try and give him better angles against this offense and create the kind of disruptive penetration that has you throwing it out in the flat like that.
And Javion Cole gets his turn in the secondary. He's got 8 career picks at 3 schools, including one at Hawaii back in 2023 when he was playing for Brennan at San Jose State. It's a gain of 5. They're back to the sticks. You know, this defense has been called unorthodox. Are we sensing some of that? Are we seeing examples of that here?
Absolutely. It's just what we just talked about there, giving you a bunch of muddy pictures that allow the offense to slow down. We see them had to play low and slow and lets this defense really trigger downhill. You've seen especially in the secondary, sure tackling because they can just play back and then fire up and make a play knowing the ball's coming out underneath.
2nd down and 10 coming after Alihado. That's a high throw, but a good one. It's caught for a first down. Carson Papunu from Lahaina in front of Cole. 10 yards to get what he needed. Papunu, very interesting story, awarded a scholarship having joined the program as a walk-on.
You see right there, little switch route on the outside just to create some space for Papunu and get them a first down. And now they can exhale a little bit after starting this drive with a penalty, getting back on schedule.
Papunu was a scout team member in 21. He tragically lost an aunt, an uncle, and a couple of cousins in the 23 Maui Fires. Middle run here. And this is where Hawaii really got some game control before Arizona built its lead. Wonder if a couple completions might open up those channels a bit more here.
Completely. You got a more normal 4-down front right now. It was Genesis Smith having to come and be that fill from the deep safety spot again. And you still got plenty of time. 2:52. You're going to have the 2-minute timeout coming here. You could still absolutely incorporate that ground game that's been so beneficial.
Look at all the homework pre-snap for Alihado to figure out who's coming and how he's going to protect himself. Able to rip one to the sticks for another first down here. A gain of 7 yards on that completion. His target slow to get up. Nick Senecal's had a slow start to his season, and he's down importantly before the ball is spotted. I don't love the fact that we have to keep track of that, but it is new to college football this year. Surely you've seen it if you've been watching today or the last couple of weeks.
Yep, in order to curb what we'd seen become a problem in recent years with players maybe feigning injuries to slow down offensive drives. Now the rule this year, if a player goes down with an injury after the ball has been spotted, either a 10-second runoff if you're under 2 minutes or that loss of time out there. And we see right now that awkward tackle for Senecal, legs stuck in the ground, sort of got attacked there. And so glad to see him walking off right now, but that's an important weapon on a big drive trying to close out before the half here, where remember, Arizona deferred to start, so they'll get the ball to start the second half. Important for Hawaii to get some points out of this drive to try and keep this from snowballing.
It was Aiden Garnes with the hit. He also has some experience against Hawaii back in 2022 when he was with Duquesne. Had a forced fumble and an interception and a loss, so not his first meeting with this program. Now suiting up for Arizona. 10 seconds and rolling before our 2-minute timeout. Alihado does not have to take this snap. He's got a new set of downs approaching midfield. And more time to think about it. As Chase Kennedy barges in and makes his presence known as we head to the 2-minute timeout. Presented by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. In Tucson, good to see Nick Senecal up on his own feet.
Yeah, we mentioned after that last play, going down here, the injuries, as we'll explain after the snap, what they're trying to curb this year.
Alihado looking over the top, coming back from the 2-minute stoppage. He had completed 7 of his last 8 throws before that misfire.
Yeah, just to clean that up. So again, this season, if a player presents as injured after the ball spotted, the team's going to be charged a timeout. If no timeouts available, it results in a delay of game. In this case, he was down before and seems to be seriously injured. We've seen this across the sport. where people and teams have been penalized for this with guys who seem to have legitimate injuries. We understand the intent of the rule, but so far it's really put some teams in tough spots with guys actually getting hurt on the field.
A reminder that Arizona gets the ball first to begin the second half, so this is a massive spot for Hawaii as they check it down across midfield. Spinning off a tackle, Landon Sims now swerving inside to the 25-yard line. A chunk play for the senior from Gig Harbor, Washington. Dalton Johnson finally drags him down. It's a gain of 25.
Just an incredible job here. Again, another check release, so seeing if he's needed, and then able to wiggle out of that tackle between two defenders. And a great cutback, making Dad proud, rocking that 30.
And 23, he was surprised with a scholarship in a team meeting with his father in attendance. 90 seconds to go in the half. Hawaii looking for its first touchdown. Out to the perimeter. Brandon White from Cincinnati, Ohio. He's got 4.28 speed. Can that be right? I mean, Xavier Worthy ran 4.21, and that was mind-boggling at the combine recently.
Incredible flashes of that on the outside for this Hawaii offense. It's got to go. He was marked in bounds with the clock running.
No timeouts. And Cheng exhausting those early in this half. Alihada walks out to his left and takes off. Seeking shelter on the sideline. It'll be third down.
Under 2 minutes.
Cole chased him out.
Under 2 minutes now, so getting out of bounds does stop the clock. 51 seconds here. Third down and 3 to go.
4 down territory?
I think so, absolutely at this point. Given where you're at in the game, given, like you said, Arizona gets the football to start the second half. I think you got to put your foot all the way down on the gas here.
Ninth play of this drive. Hawaii has gained 56 yards. Looking left all the way. Alihado on the money to a leaping Papunu, and the drive is alive with a late flag down. For the moment, a gain of 9 and a fresh set.
You're going to see Senecal right here on the clear out, getting awfully physical in there. Didn't seem like a pick. Seemed like he was entitled to that space trying to get upfield, but we'll see what the refs think.
Pass interference, offense, number 3, 15-yard penalty enforced in the previous spot, third down.
Great camera work, good eyes by you as well, Mike, but that is immensely costly.
Absolutely, just trying to get what the offense calls a natural rub in those plays. We saw that work earlier to get Papunu open down all the way on the other end of the field when they were digging themselves out from the shadow of their own red zone, but now putting them in third and double.
Now you're not even in safe field goal range. You went from looking to cap this half with a touchdown to make it a one-possession game to maybe having to run a little bit of a give up here on third down and 19 to give yourself a reasonable shot for Matsuzawa.
Yep, and if you're Arizona on defense, you're dropping 8, rallying tackle, being ready for a screen or a draw, anything like that. Try and take advantage of some of the aggression we've seen.
Also keep in mind, no timeouts to utilize here. So they need to get out of bounds. They need to get their field goal unit on quickly here. Outside the 20, rolling with 12. Here they come. They're not going to have time. With 6, can they get there? 41, able to get it off. Kick on the way.
Wow.
Matsuzawa magic again.
Unbelievable execution. We used to call that NASCAR. You're ready and waiting on the sideline, frothing at the mouth to try and get out there and give your guy a chance to put it through the uprights. And once again, Matsuzawa gets to play hero going into the half for some positive momentum for Hawaii.
He ties his career long with this 41-yarder, and they needed every split second after this catch and run from Landon Sims tackled in bounds.
And you saw everyone on the sideline ready to go. They knew, all right, we're going in the middle of the field. We're going to try and set this up right. The guys who are off field goal unit have to know and sprint and get off. Everyone gets set, snap, hold, kick. And 3 more points for Hawaii before the half.
Down to the field. Here's Ali.
Well, Coach, a lot of new faces on this.
Back in their favor. Their season opener, Hawaii looking to knock off back-to-back Auto 4 opponents. That goes out of bounds before it goes into the end zone. So while they spot the football in favorable position for Arizona, let's check in with Ali LaForce.
kick out of bounds.
Hey, JB, well, you heard Coach Brennan reference the red line in my interview with him before the half. Here's what that means. Chris Hunter told me we live and die by this red line. We go 100%, we go 100%, 100% of the time. The next part of it is execution. You have to prove it to get on the field for Arizona. And the last part is accountability. Own it and fix it, he said. There are no my bads every day in practice or even in the games. You have to respond. He talked about response being a huge word that they use every single day in the building. And Trey Smith told me red line just speaks to the sense of urgency. Hey, a lot of this team was either under-recruited or they weren't here last season. They have a lot to prove.
Yeah, red line we've heard a lot of. Own the night, another rallying cry, and they got a chance to do that here in this second half. Noah Fifita stays with the running game. Cedric Risino got them started. And look, in terms of the composition of this locker room, I thought Noah really said it best. Everyone wearing a Wildcat uniform either came for Brent Brennan or stayed for Coach Brennan, and that's different year over year.
Absolutely, and I think last year as Fifita drops back on this second down and takes the deep shot.
Keep going, Golick. You got this. Your play-by-play chops. Brandon Phelps on the receiving end.
There you go. I hand it off to the professional, but Noah Fifita capitalizing on what looked like a little fake pump screen on the outside, and all of a sudden getting the receiver streaking down the sideline, and now they're getting ready to go fast inside the red zone.
A redshirt freshman from Gilbert with a chunk play to spark this third quarter. Fifita spins one, end zone, overshot a wide open tight end, Sam Olsen. Should mention that fellow tight end Tyler Powell shaken up early in this game.
JB, they went right back to it. They faked the screen down here, and then they leaked the tight end up the sideline. He had him wide open on the tight end wheel. And really, the same sort of effect we had on the outside. You see Fifita looking outside, and then all of a sudden you get a deep receiver right behind that backfield. Great couple of splash play attempts, almost paid off in a touchdown.
At the mesh point, he gives. Risino hops through a tackle, carries Rainbow Warriors for a first down and goal. Elijah Palmer hanging on for dear life, 10 yards churning on the ground.
Risino running tough tonight here. You see just a little fold, center pulling out in front, backside guard getting up to the second level as we got a player down for Hawaii right now.
We'll step aside with 13:44 to go in this third quarter. Arizona in the red zone when we come back. Team on the doorstep looking to extend a 17-6 lead.
Yeah, Brandon Phelps just running by everyone here. You see Peter Manuma caught down looking on the inside and no one back deep. Lucky they were able to catch up and track him down just inside the 10 here. Prevent that from getting any worse.
Brandon Phelps there, isolated at the right numbers. Risino is the back from the pistol with Watley in motion. A gun run. And they jump on him at the 5. Elijah Palmer, third-year starter with all-conference potential, in on the Hawaii tackle. Elijah Palmer epitomizes what they want in a Rainbow Warrior, says Timmy Chang, the head coach.
Part of that secondary that's got plenty of veteran leadership for this team. We talked about Kiwinahe, Mendiola, Jensen, and the plays that he's made. Manuma never coming off the field. They rely on that group to allow them to maybe add bodies up front, go and put more pressure on opposing quarterbacks and running backs, especially when they leaned on like Arizona has this drive.
Second down goal. Off the play fake. Deep drop. Dealing. Caught. Touchdown. Sam Olsen.
Good look at this play. You're going to see the center pop out here and sell some hard play action in the backfield. And the tight end just able to leak right up the seam. And Sam Olsen, you talk about the guys that came here for Brent Brennan, his second season at Arizona after 4 with Brent Brennan at San Jose State. So knows what's expected of him. You talk about that red line. It's creating an expectation and a set of values that everyone knows here in this building.
Arizona comes out of the halftime locker room. They go 6 plays, 65 yards in just over 2 minutes to tack on another touchdown. That's a tight end room that's expecting to add Kean Burnett soon. Several Wildcats kind of working their way through some either off-season injuries or bumps and bruises through training camp. As you get a look at the updated passing touchdown leaders led by Nick Foles and Willie Tuitama here in Tucson. Noah Fifita climbing the ranks and just at the outset of his 3rd year as the starter.
Guy could have a chance to climb real high on this record board if they keep up the kind of production we've started to see, especially in this half. We mentioned the first half, a bunch of the big plays came in the rushing attack. They were big bursts. Hawaii dominated time of possession. Now on that last drive, Noah Fifita able to take the lid off this defense and really explore all of what Seth Doege has planned for his quarterback, a guy who comes from that Mike Leach area.
And Doege is not holding back with his praise. He thinks he has the best quarterback in the Big 12. He'll tell you. He said this offseason, every list that Noah's not on, I'm keeping those receipts because he's about to shock the world.
And tell you what, saying the best quarterback in the conference is saying something in the Big 12. He's one of 9 quarterbacks who threw for 2,400 or more yards in 2024 that returned this season. So a conference that's incredibly deep with accomplished players, and none more so than Noah Fifita and what he's already put on display here.
And you see his head coach there. He took all the blame off Noah's shoulders this offseason. He said the step back, clank off
You
the
should get
upright.
points for that.
Ian Wagner back in his home state of Arizona. Just to finish the thought on Noah, Brennan said the step back last year, my fault, not his. We didn't protect him. We didn't run it well enough. I get it's only the opener, and it's Hawaii, and there's tougher tests to come, but this is a good start on offense.
Absolutely. All you can do is play the team that's in front of you right now. We talked about it off the top. This is a team that already had a week to go out there and prepare and execute on game day. They got to go and make those changes. So it comes with a unique challenge in its own right, and they've stepped up.
Golick got a hat drive here for Hawaii.
Absolutely. Need points coming out of this one, and you're going to see more pressure like we get already off top here.
Yeah, Arizona selling out against the run and breaking through. Max Harris has been hitting everything that moves.
Really has. It's been incredible watching him track downhill. You're going to see him coming off this field side, and that's what they've been doing all night. They've been bringing field pressure. The difference is early in this game, Alejandro able to use the snap count, able to give his offensive line a look at the picture. They're all of a sudden able to create seams because they know where these guys are moving from. Now, Arizona holding their water a little bit better, disguising it.
Blitz from the second level. That throw busted up at the Hawaii sideline. Aiden Garnes, who quite literally saved a woman's life by donating bone marrow during his time at Duquesne. Stop at West Virginia, add some veteran experience and position flex to this Arizona secondary.
Great job breaking on the ball and making a play. If you're Hawaii here, you've got to get vertical. Everything's been too east and west. Arizona's able to come down and make plays like that. You've got to challenge them vertically.
Third down, Arizona defense hunting. Alejandro has to pull his eyes down, and he's sacked. Leroy Palu and others, -7. Dominic Lolesio in there as well.
You're going to watch them create this seam right here in the middle. Ends up being a 3-man game. Lolesio showing up in the picture, and we talked about it. Alejandro just not quite the escapability that we've seen before, but credit to this Arizona defense for expanding the net, maintaining their rush lane discipline, and then closing it around the star quarterback.
Jeremiah Patterson muffs it. There is a flag down, and Arizona covered it at the 43 of Hawaii.
Yep, that'll be clear interference with the return man there. Hawaii player running into the returner while he's being given chance to field that punt. Just another unfortunate mistake for this team. See, signals fair catch. He's got to be given room to make that play. They used to call it getting inside the cylinder, but you saw full-on contact there, even if it wasn't a devastating blow.
Elijah Gibson, a defensive back, getting down there on punt cover. So a 24-6 lead, and should be great starting field position for Arizona's next possession as they look to really blow this open.
Yeah, if this penalty gets assessed, this becomes shot play territory where all of a sudden you're loading up your best trick play. You might see an unconventional formation, give the defense a little bit extra to think about. and all of a sudden have someone streaking deep to try and go for the knockout blow.
Not a lot of answers right now for Timmy Chang with where he is offensively.
No, certainly been a struggle for this team, and the pressure, again, they were able to weather so well early using the run game. But now that Arizona defense, they've seen what the countermeasures have been, and they've been able to make tweaks of their own.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding on the receiving team, number 10. Personal foul. Kick catch interference on the kicking team. Those penalties will offset.
All right, so make him punt it again, and that gives us time to wax poetic a little bit about this guy, Billy Gowers. We got to talk about this 29-year-old freshman as he reloads here to punt once more. Mike, you're probably thinking, oh, we got a 29-year-old in college. He's got to be the oldest college player we get to see him in week 1. Not so fast, my friend.
He's on the medal stand, though, right? Third oldest?
That's right. There's a couple of 30-year-olds at Southern Miss and Arkansas.
Pro kick, as we see a late run onto the field right now. And this is important. Anytime you've got to repunt, the punt coverage team just had to run down there. Their legs are a little gassy. You've got a chance for a big return if you're Arizona. And that's why you see them loading up, looking like they're going to try and come after this.
Short clock here. They snap it with 3. The punt is away. Patterson inside his own 30. A late fair catch signal for. Woo! And Hawaii really gains some yardage on that exchange. I think Noah Fafita's numbers tonight, modest, only 7 of 12 for 111 and a touchdown. But I think that undersells, Mike, the impact, the control he's had at the line of scrimmage running this Arizona offense. Spins out of the pocket here. Flips his hips. And hit his target. That's just a drop. And you won't see many of those from Luke Weissong, the New Mexico transfer, on the Blitnikoff Award watch list.
We mentioned had 8 catches for 129 yards and a touchdown against Arizona last year. And so obviously became an attractive target. Very NFL move, right? Guy goes out and burns you, and all of a sudden, hey, he's loose in free agency. Let's bring him over. But you saw it right there. Noah Fafita calmly rolls out of the pocket, is able to deliver a strike. You're right. Modest numbers, but at this point in the career, I think he understands he needs to just do what it takes to win. He's had the gaudy numbers.
Reminded me a bit of someone there. I wonder if you saw it too after this play. Fafita trying to dirt one there. Did not like the look. So he changed to number 1, right? There's an NFL QB just up to 10 here in Arizona. Draws some comparisons. His receiver, Chris Hudson, calls him a righty Tua. And
I think that's an interesting one. I think you see, and I think he's going to get flagged right here for grounding. That hit an offensive lineman. There wasn't the eligible receiver. They were trying to set up a screen.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 1. The ball was placed at the spot of the foul. Loss of down. 3rd down.
So you're saying he had a target, the ball just didn't get there because it was broken up.
Exactly. Tried to dirt the ball, but needed to get that closer to the feet, and instead it hits an offensive lineman who's not an eligible receiver. So you're going to see right here, everyone out of phase. He's going for the wide receiver. He hits his left tackle, Ty Buchanan. And so good call and good catch by the officials that sets up 3rd and a mile.
Buchanan, the big vegetarian.
Amazing. Trying to get all that protein.
Career at SC, met Seth Daggy there, then played the last 3 years at Texas Tech.
This is a chance. Hawaii hasn't had much on defense tonight. You'll see this stand-up, move around front on 3rd and long and try and give them a chance to get home and put a hit on Fafita.
There have been many negative down and distances. They drop 8. He fits it in to the 30. Mizell shakes a tackler, lunging for the marker. We'll see. Isaiah Mizell with speed to burn. Looks to be short, but he made it exciting. Jalen Smith ran him out.
Great run after catch ability right here. Way to try and fight for the yard marker here. Comes up just short, and I like this. If you're Arizona, everything's been working for you offensively right now. Your quarterback's in control. Continue to assert your dominance, even backed up in your own end.
Olsen in motion there. Just trying to draw them off, perhaps. 5 to snap it. They will. Keeper game. 1st down, Arizona. Fafita playing chess. And late flags fly as the hands come out.
Great job by Fifita. We talked about Seth Doege loving the design run game. We'd seen some zone read action, some RPOs earlier in this game, but the first time Fifita calls his number, timely on 4th and short, doing what he needed to do to get just enough on that run to move the chains. And some extracurriculars down the field on that play between the wide receivers and defensive backs.
The result of the play is a first down. After the play, personal foul, face mask, number 23. That 15-yard red penalty will be added at the end of the run. First down.
It's Verdell Edwards, a senior defensive back who was a captain in 23, then missed all of last year with an injury, making his 24th career start tonight.
And that's just a frustration penalty right there. Like you said, from a veteran player who should know better. But you're getting blocked. 4th down, Arizona able to convert. The frustration starts to set in. And you make a play that sets your team back.
So Isaiah Mazel staying in the formation there. Luke Weissong in motion. Fifita wants to go top shelf, couldn't cut it loose. Oh, an underhand flip nearly connected. All that for second down.
They were trying to set up a deep shot here. You had a double post on the backside. So you had one coming right here, breaking in, and then trying to get him bending in over the top right here. Just couldn't shake loose. Could Weissong. And then Fifita with a little attempted razzle-dazzle here. The underhand just behind, but bonus points for creativity.
Quincy Craig, the home run hitter in the backfield. Offset and to his left. 10 minutes to go, and an exciting third quarter already. Fifita surveys, checks it down over the ball. It's 3rd in the full chains. You know, he spotlighted Mizell. He's played such a role here. We should probably mention what the coaches told us, which was, you know, at 6'1", 164, you could see him maybe heading towards a redshirt season because of the depth at receiver. But then about 2 weeks ago, they say he took a magic pill or something of the equivalent, and it just clicked, and now they can't keep him off the field.
You never know when that moment is going to come for a young player, but now, as we know, with the 4 games that you get to kind of play with that, a great opportunity to look and see if he's worth being in this rotation all year.
Fifita, hot from his right side. And the Hawaii rush gets home. Jackie Johnson III was shaken up earlier. He's back with a 9-yard sack.
Looking at Jackie Johnson on the right side. Just a great one-on-one win, lined up wide. Works through the tight end chip right there, and that's where you got to understand, if you're the right tackle, Tristan Bounds, hey, you've got that help on the outside, and knowing where your help is, how to use it. Give credit to Jackie Johnson just beating it with pure speed.
That was Cameron Barmore at tight end there, Mike. All due respect to the Barmore family, but he's a 5-year receiver at the FCS level, now trying to play tight end at the Big 12 level here. Punt off the side of the foot, goes out of bounds somewhere near the 20 of Hawaii.
Been a frustrating day for Mike Alejado after the beginning. Started with drops, but then that constant pressure from Danny Gonzalez's defense, knowing he's got that injured ankle. Stripped ball right here, created a turnover that created points for Arizona. We saw at the end of the first half, they got a drive going. They managed to get off that miraculous field goal at the end after some great work. But this second half, we've still seen them struggle to get past this Arizona pass rush that's been heating them up in that backfield, and with no sign of that pressure slowing down. Timmy Chang and company are going to have to go to the sideline and quickly figure out a work other than, hey, running the ball away from pressure like they had success with in the first half, and maybe exploring again, getting more vertical to try and make this defense account for more.
Pele Ashlock in motion there. First snap of a new drive from Michael Alejado and Hawaii. A lot of drops tonight. Uncharacteristic given the talent and the experience of this receiving core. Gavin Hunter providing the footsteps behind Ashlock.
The run and shoot is so much about timing, and when that timing is disrupted by the blitzes, you see these all-up looks. They're dropping out defensive linemen, clouding up some of the windows on the inside. So he tries to spray it to these out routes, but these defensive backs have been able to sit, play off coverage all night, and just wait for him to throw these outs that take a while to get there. And so they're triggering downhill and either making a big hit or making a pass breakup.
We just saw Fafita sacked to force a punt. Arizona with 4 sacks tonight, more than any game last season, their most since 2023 at USC. They're coming after the quarterback again here, and Ashlock never had eyes on it.
Just a tough missed opportunity there. You had both linebackers flying to the open side of the field. You had a mesh look underneath. And that was similar to a throw and catch that we saw Arch Manning miss earlier in the day for Texas, where you've got a guy streaking back. He's got a little bit of an advantage, but that time the receiver doesn't turn around and look for the ball.
Chance for the Cats to attack here on 3rd and long again. Rainbow Warriors 3 of 9 on 3rd down tonight. Still looking for their first touchdown on the road in Tucson. Cam Barfield in the backfield to help protect. Alejado loads and goes deep down the left side. I guess we call that back shoulder, but it ran out of gas. Brandon White had no chance, and Hawaii will punt.
Timing all sorts off, and you see Alejado frustrated as he's going back to the sideline. Double edge pressure up front once again, dropping the defensive lineman out underneath, and he gets a one-on-one shot backside. But you mentioned that ball just sort of fluttered and died on him, and so the receiver is trying to turn around, see if maybe you can draw a pass interference penalty there, but the timing of the ball just not right.
Gowers handles that low snap, no problem. Hits a helicopter punt. Wow, going up to his face mask. Jeremiah Patterson brings it in on a fair catch. 24-6 our score. Arizona back to work on offense. After this, you're watching Big 12 football on TNT Sports, presented by Modelo. Eastern on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. Got off to a great start embedded here in Tucson with the Arizona Wildcats. Noah Fafita back at the switch. He's 8 of 16 through the air. 130 yards and a touchdown to Olsen. He's been very patient and deliberate with the running game, and Hawaii shuts it down there. Mahdi could not get out of the backfield. Dijon Benton with a TFL of 4 yards.
And that's another one of those areas as the season goes along. We saw Noah Fafita insert himself as a part of that read option quarterback run game on 4th and 1. That's a spot there where you can add that on the backside of a counter play. So now a Jackie Johnson can't come screaming down, tearing off for the running back when you've got pullers coming from that side. Just little wrinkles you might not want to show this week, but eventually could be part of the diet.
Clapping for the snap against a 4-man rush. I think he was well served to keep that to the outside, because Jalen Smith was trying to change this game by jumping that route.
Great job by Smith, hauling to try and undercut that. And you're right, I think Fafita sees him out of the corner of the eye and decides that ball dying over on the sideline and us having a chance for 3rd and 13, probably a better scenario.
Well, for all their success tonight, they've not been great on the money down. They've had difficulty sustaining drives. Arizona with a long way to go on 3rd down again. Fafita was sacked on his previous 3rd down, so they'll stay conservative here. Make Hawaii tackle Watley. A flag comes in out on the perimeter. If it's against Arizona, they can force the Cats to punt.
Yeah, you're going to have holding on Kedrick Risano on the perimeter, trying to set up that swing pass, and just got caught grabbing on a block on the perimeter.
Hold it. Offense, number 3. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
See him get that hook in right there at the point of attack. Easy call.
I mean, you've already done play-by-play. Now you're officiating. You want to jump on a camera?
I think they're going to let me eat soon. I think that's the hope.
Yeah.
Tucson, an incredible food scene.
Sonoran hot dog at halftime. How'd it go?
I haven't tried it yet. I want to eat it on air with you guys.
Oh, you went tamale. Nearly blocked. Fair catch signaled for and taken up against the Hawaii sideline inside the 20-yard line. All right, you've enjoyed the food scene, your first trip. Touchdown down 8. You got to go for 2.
Smart man.
Oh, look at this. Whoa! A takeaway. And nearly a quick 6. Tay Brown off the deflection.
Nearly a quick 6. Not quite a thick 6. Because Tay Brown, not north of 300 pounds. but a great job here sniffing out the attempted screen. And I tell you what, we mentioned the money downs for the Arizona offense maybe being a bit of a struggle, but this Arizona defense has been dialed in all night long, and just right off the hands there of Cam Barfield with Tay Brown ready and waiting to go.
This is a little bit of history, too. It's a time capsule of sorts. It's Alijado's first interception since he was a junior in high school, November 11th, 2022, over 1,000 days ago.
You knew at some point it was going to come, and listen, obviously the game hasn't gone Hawaii's way on offense for a while. Almost a relief, though, to have that in the past.
Fifita keeps this one. Takes a big hit, driven into the turf at the 9-yard line. Langafua Ina at 240 pounds drives him into the deck.
And that's one of those instances. I know we've still got plenty of time left in this game, 7-12 ticking down in the third quarter, but you've got a decent lead. You're down in the red zone. I'm in no steady rush to get Noah Fifita in harm's way on design carries right now.
7 minutes and rolling. Fifita wants to turn the takeaway into a touchdown. Dodges the rush, keeps the play alive, slices inside, and hits pay dirt.
Well, right on cue, maybe not the designed rushing type, but this is exactly what Seth Dagey knew he had in his quarterback, Noah Fifita. Put on a little bit of weight, but still maintains that quickness and that elusiveness, and you saw that on display in the open space there.
All right, dodging the initial rush was the key to all that, wasn't it? Just shaking off that shoulder hit to get outside and letting his athleticism do the rest. Michael Salgado Medina, probably an underrated story here. Opening night in the kicking game for him. He's been a punter, but now he's got the punter and place kicking duties.
Been clean right here, and you mentioned it. Getting up underneath the rush, leaking out to his right, and then you see him put his foot in the ground there. And leave Quinn Williams, the defensive tackle, in the dust on the perimeter. And that's a mismatch we know athletically, but just the ability to put your foot in the ground, get north and south, and then dive home for pay dirt.
Second career rushing touchdown. It measures 10 yards. Adding to his toolkit. I don't know about you, but I've felt the connection with his offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, right? Their first night working together, but when they're at the line of scrimmage, there does seem to be this open line. Sometimes it's literally open in his headset, right? Like he's talking
absolutely.
to him. Sometimes it's more telepathic than that, but they're on the same page, it feels like.
They are, and listen, Seth Dagey being a former quarterback, running a similar offense, and understanding what that communication style needs to be, understanding his quarterback. And Seth Dagey mentioned Noah Fifita's got an insatiable appetite for this stuff. He wants to be so great, and you love coaching a guy like that.
Is anyone going to get a return off this year against Ian Wagner and Arizona? I think he's just attacking the goalposts now.
I think his goal is to just make it through the uprights on these kickoffs from now on. Challenge accepted from the big leg.
But one other thing on that Dagey-Fifita connection, right? Like, he says working with Noah is as if he's working with a little brother version of himself. He can talk to him like he would talk to a quarterback coach. And part of that is note-taking, which is something that, man, coaches really value. When they see the knowledge being ingested and jotted down and organized the way that Fifita does it, that builds trust.
Oh, absolutely. When you have someone that knows how to prepare like a high-end starter, that takes so many guys so long to learn. And so to walk in as a new coach and have someone already with that as a part of their game, we've seen it all over college football, right? The story of this opening weekend is plenty of young quarterbacks getting to see the field for the first time. Arch Manning, Julian Sand, and they might be great at preparation in certain ways, but they've never had to apply it practically. Noah's able to merge both of those worlds in a way that makes him a very, very deadly out.
That wasn't Ashlock's first catch, but a bit of housekeeping. He does now have a reception in all 27 career games that he's played. Gets a chunk of 4 there. 2nd and 6 against a loaded front. Hawaii runs right into it, and Sims drags Katz for a first down to the 38-yard line. He's a core 4 teams guy. He's the type that any coach in the country would gladly have on their roster.
Exactly. And does the hardest thing to get running backs on the field is pass protect at an incredibly high level, fit into that well, and he's found creases against that Arizona pressure. That was sort of reminiscent of the first half where that worked a lot more often as an antidote for them.
Here come the Cats again. Back shoulder busted up. Well covered out on the perimeter. Michael Dansby, first year at Arizona after 3 at San Jose State. Alejado deteriorating a bit here.
And you see now, I think this Hawaii coaching staff's got a decision to make here.
Is it time?
I think it may be soon. You have 3 home games coming up. You've still got the conference play to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, he's hopping on one foot and somehow manages to put it on the number of Jackson Harris, but now he's down. Luke Weaver's his backup, 10-yard pickup.
This is exactly who he is as a player, right? You saw him hopping before the last play and still gets to the outside, delivers a strike for a first down. But body just failing him. This is where the coaching staff, if you're Timmy Chang, you've got to take the helmet away from the player. You know he's a competitor. You know he's going to do anything to be out there. You saw that on display last week. You don't need to get him hurt. You have more of the year to play for. And so you've got to make the long-term decision that's got the best in mind for this team and for a player that, like we said off the top, they believe can be one of the greatest, if not the best in Hawaii's history.
It's tough to watch, just knowing how highly they think of him and really how enjoyable it's been getting to know this program and the future they think they have in store with him.
They do. They rave about his maturity. Burst onto the scene last year with his one start against New Mexico, 469 yards, 5 touchdowns, broke Timmy Chang's record for single-game passing yards by a freshman player, and no doubt has the respect and admiration of this whole team and locker room for the way he composes himself, the way that he competes. But now you just hope he can go back to the sideline and get himself right for the rest of this season.
So he was first knocked out of last week's game early third quarter, only missed 1 snap, returned to play throughout that right foot ankle injury, and ultimately guide them to the game-winning field goal. Weaver came on, saw his first action as a Rainbow Warrior, replacing Alejado. His sole pass was broken up. This has the look of being a more extended stint at the controls for Luke. Sets his feet and fires, and he begins with his first completion. Looked to be down, but they let it roll. Uliata staying up and potentially moving the sticks.
And you're going to see them go tempo here, and I think that's a great call by Seth Dagey. When you've got a new quarterback coming in, you don't want him sitting here thinking about the moment. As a guy, I was a backup in college, and, Chang, getting him going here. You want to get him out of his head and into playing fast and free.
Replay official's going to step in here.
Also might have been trying to get ahead of that.
The ruling on the field was a completed pass. Previous play is under further review.
So a bit more on Luke Weaver, who transferred from Modesto College in January. He was a JUCO All-American, back from a gruesome dislocated right hip his freshman season. Was able to return to health and lead Modesto to conference titles the next couple of years. So he's a proven commodity, just not in these colors.
So let's take a look and see. No knee hit there.
Boom.
Forearm hits down. Easy call to overturn. This should be quick sign, sealed, and delivered.
After review, the receiver was down at the 49-yard line. The ball will be placed there. It'll be second down.
But again, do still wonder if Timmy Chang goes with a little tempo here, if they're able to get another play and a positive gain on this one. Again, for a guy who's been cold all night, certainly got some reps early in the week when Alejado was working on that ankle. But you don't want him out there overthinking things, trying to place the ball. Let him go, get him in some plays he's comfortable with, and try and let it rip.
David Cordero, a senior, in his backfield. Making an adjustment here before second down and 7. So plenty of clock to work with for Weaver on in relief of Alejado. And stick it in the belly, and that's going nowhere. Trey Smith was not fooled. This year's all about his pass rush and how many sacks he can rack up, but he's been a run support defender nicely tonight.
Heavy hands. They talked about his ability to anchor down and bull rush a guy, to be able to plow into the backfield. But here, when you've got no threat on the backside, and you've got a blitzer secondary. You saw Tay Brown coming from outside there, so he gets to just pin his ears back, fly down the line of scrimmage, and great job setting an edge by the front side of that defense, but one of your captains showing up, continuing to make plays.
Redshirt senior from Mesa, Arizona. Earning the right to rush the passer now on 3rd down and 9. Weaver heaves one. Close. Tama Uliata. It'll depend on the spot. No signal yet. Now it's 4th down. Got 8, needed 9.
And a great job evading that pressure, a little show and go. They brought the corner from the field side. Weaver drifts, gets it out in the opposite direction away from that pressure, and now sets them up for a 4th and short. No surprise seeing Landon Sims out there, whether it's going to be a check release and maybe an easy short route or letting him carry the ball up the middle. He's been a staple.
They'll take their second 4th down try of the season from a 2-back set. Barfield could not break through contact. Arizona shuts it down with Deshaun McKnight leading the way.
And a fired up Danny Gonzalez, which is the case on any day that ends in Y, with the energy he brings to this defense. But you've seen it reflected in that unit tonight. They're living on the other side of the line of scrimmage. You see the stunt there. They create penetration all over this line. Malachi Bailey has been in the backfield. You've seen him walking around the line, creating indecision by the Hawaii offensive line, and just continuing to make great splash plays.
You know, Golic, press conferences and quotes, they don't win you games, but it's all you really have to go off of through the summer. And when you heard Danny Gonzalez say, he was part of the staff last year, elevated to DC now, we did a terrible job coaching that team. Like, that's ultimate accountability, and I think tonight might be a step in the right direction. Accountability also one of the tenets of Red Line, right, for Coach Brennan.
Absolutely, and that to me matters almost more than the rest of those. And when it starts with the coaches, when you're a player sitting in front of that room, they've got a lot of new guys on this team, and when you see your coaches stand up and say, guys, this was our fault. When the outside world comes for you and tries to throw things your way, we're going to step in front of that and say, this is on us. It makes it easier for everyone in that building to do the same thing in their meeting rooms, on the practice field, and when they're breaking down the game tape after this one.
Fafita whirling into that handoff to Ismail Mahdi, a senior from Murphy, Texas, who led all of FBS in all-purpose yards a couple of years ago in 2023. Gets 4 on this carry.
And watch some nifty backfield action here. Fakes the pass, reverses back for another counter look. They've had a lot of success with that play all night, just presenting different wrinkles to the defense.
A lot of options here. Across midfield, 3rd and 4. A hefty lead. Your opposing quarterback knocked out. Not a lot of wrong answers here as long as you don't turn it over.
And probably 4-down territory. You can afford to take a shot here if you want.
That's what I was sensing. Let's see what Coach Daggy wants. Fafita, a pump fake. He is going top shelf. Looking for Gio Richardson, could not reel it in. The freshman from Chandler, Arizona, cloaked by Elijah Palmer.
Elijah Palmer's had himself a night. Working in coverage, just staying in phase, looking for the hands, and then importantly here, a little bit physical at the top, but he turns back to try and make a play and locate the ball. Where defensive backs get in trouble a lot of times is where they end up face guarding in these situations, but he turns back, they're hand fighting, good no call, and a great pass breakup.
So Salgado Medina ready to punt it away again. Uliata stands at his own 10-yard line for Hawaii. Immediate fair catch signaled for and taken at the 11. Let's get the latest on Alejado from Ali.
Hey, JB, he's on the training table. They took his cleat off, they cut the tape off, and now they have a pack of ice on his ankle. He wanted the ice put on the outside of his ankle a little bit higher up. He's obviously in a lot of pain, uncomfortable. He's not going back in this game, but like you guys mentioned, it's about longevity at this point and getting him ready for conference play and what's yet to come in this season.
Long flight home tonight, too. It'll be tough to spin it around for next week.
But we mentioned they got 3 straight games coming up at home. And Timmy Chang told us about the outpouring of support from the island. Talked about how they always say it takes a village, but when Mike Alejado went down with that injury, everyone was coming out of the woodworks around in that community to try and offer something to help, to try and offer something for treatment. So he's going to have the support system.
Reintroducing Luke Weaver, taking over at quarterback now, deep in this third quarter. Looking left, has to come off that initial read. Able to find Papunu. Good composure there from Weaver as the initial protection broke down to get positive yardage.
Yeah, Arizona's not calling off the dogs on defense. He's getting the same pressure looks that Alejado got in that time. Able to turn back even with that pressure bearing down and make an awkward throw on the money.
Cut the chains in half now, second down, and somebody flinched. That Arizona defensive front pointing at a lot of candidates.
Looked like
Ball start. Offense, number 52, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Dean Brisky, left tackle, converted defensive lineman.
They've been really impressed by the job that he's done since coming over to the offensive line. I mean, that's a difficult transition, a completely learned skill, offensive line and D-back, the two most unnatural skill sets in football. Go backwards and try and block the best athletes on the planet. He's made that transition well.
Sounds like you're speaking from deep experience, Golick.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Up the middle, huge crease. A void in that Arizona defensive front. And Christian Vaughn makes an appearance. Senior from Las Vegas. Gain of 14 here.
Starting to see some depth on both sides, and they just get a crease. You see Julian Savainaya come up the middle there and not get over to the gap he needed to.
Ball on the deck. Cats pounce. Another takeaway in plus territory.
And JB, that's what you worry about as much as anything, is the exchange. When you get a new quarterback in there, they're working in shotgun most of the time, but when you've got that mesh point with the running back, and maybe you don't have as many reps with these guys, all of a sudden it shows up.
You wonder if Julian's going to go look for his big brother, Jonah, honorary captain here tonight, after recovering this fumble.
And again, that's all zone read. So you've got the quarterback, they call it the mesh point, where you're holding in that running back's belly, you're reading the backside defensive end, trying to see if you're going to pull it and keep it. But when you don't have as many reps, all of a sudden that exchange gets botched. And you're right, maybe he gave that to big brother, now in the Miami Dolphins, back as an honorary captain for this game.
Savainaya was talking about growing up, always choosing to play defensive line, like not wanting to go into the family business and just follow his big brother. Spit it out wide, and that's Nunu Watley, incoming transfer. Can you imagine the days at the park that those two had? Ooh. Like pass pro versus pass rush?
That's a tough one. I never experienced that. My younger brother played tight end at Notre Dame with me. We were on the same side of the football, but you know, my dad back in the day at Notre Dame, my uncle Greg played offensive line, he played defensive line. That's an unenviable matchup. That's the Long brothers problem they had in the NFL.
Final seconds drained from the third. We're off to the final frame here.
Went over so well. So I did ask the team, how many balls do you pack for every game? They said 6. They have yet to go over 6 turnovers, but if they do, they're going to have to find balls from somebody else. But so far, so good tonight.
Okay, so
it's pretty heavy, too.
Matching their season high total of 3 from last year. And Savainaya did not deflate one of the game balls. That is reassuring as we begin this fourth frame.
Fans of AFC East football, cover your ears. Deflated footballs.
Holding, offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot, second down.
I tell you what, not many more satisfying feelings. I half expected it to be cake in the day and age that we live in right now. Is it cakeification of America has me constantly with trust issues, that in fact of football, and that a very powerful sword. I'm jealous that Allie got to go and wield that thing.
You and your sugar, always.
The son of a type 2 diabetic.
Craig with a jump cut to the outside. He's got some wiggle to him, doesn't he? Already hit a home run from 54 yards to help build this advantage. Strong, too. Reportedly squats 500, benches 365, pound for pound, one of the strongest on the roster.
Running backs are like ants. Their strength to body size ratio is disturbing, and watching them in the weight room is one of the great feats of strength you'll see. And that play, that touchdown you mentioned, really set off this entire explosive game for Arizona. That was the game-changing moment.
Arizona settling in at the line of scrimmage here with plenty of clock to run before 3rd down and 9. In field goal range, but looking for more. Again, the operational control from Fafita at the line of scrimmage. 4 coming after him as he settles into the pocket. Decked. And now it's a long field goal try if they want it. Benton gets home for Hawaii.
And once again, we've called his name a lot tonight. Jackie Johnson in that wide rushing spot out there, just able to get up and under Tristan Bounce, put him right in the lap of the quarterback and leave it open for Benton on the other side to come in for the sack. He's been applying consistent pressure in the run and pass game all night long.
So time to find out a bit more about Michael Salgado Medina. Not just the punter, but this year the place kicker. Hit from 35 earlier, this one 52. He smoked it. Oh, yeah. No wonder he won Brent Brennan's confidence.
Yeah. Man who can do both. Ian Wagner gets the high snap down. Incredible work.
He did boot a 52-yarder in high school, now taking it to the Big 12. You're watching the Big 12 football on TNT's
here. A bond that both of these teams see shared. A great moment to see the entrepreneurial spirit of a lot of these young athletes now. We talk about the name, image, and likeness era in college sports so much through the lens of what these guys are being paid for their exploits on the field, but it's also created great opportunities for these guys off the field that will certainly outlast their football playing days and hopefully give them a leg up as they enter the real world.
In the meantime, Ian Wagner hits another one like almost out to Speedway. And what I wasn't expecting as we saw Tyler Loop here with Ravens gear on earlier this week is that you might feel pretty good coming out of this week about the state of your kicking game if you're Arizona.
Just a monster leg has answered the bell at every turn tonight. Really impressive. All 3 phases we mentioned with new coordinators. Special teams certainly proud as well.
Alejado with the ice pack on his ankle now. Weaver stepping up into trouble. Somehow hangs onto the football, and now he's loose. Diving for a 1st down. 10 on the turf for Luke Weaver.
That right there was one of the areas that Alejado has really been hampered by tonight. Almost even got a little face mask there, but able to break through. And Alejado, again, dealing with that ankle, you wonder the ability to push off, the strength to break through that wave, especially at his size.
Cats fall out, and that's wide of the mark, intended for Brandon White, the Kentucky transfer. Made his first career start last week.
So for Hawaii, the rest of the game again now. Obviously, your season really hinges on the health of Alejado from here on out, but you've still seen, like on the defensive side, we talked about Jackie Johnson playing with great effort. If you're Timmy Chang and this coaching staff, that's what you're going to want to see. What does the finish look like from this group, even if the game's a bit out of reach right now? Are you still going out to execute? That'll show you how far you've come as a program, your ability to reset no matter what the situation is.
Weaver looking down the line, pressure in his face, lobs a ball into trouble and nearly taken away. Penalty marker from the secondary as Genesis Smith has his hands to his helmet. Can he play from depth or what?
That is an impressive athlete in the secondary that they could think could be the best to ever play that bear role in this defense.
Number 8, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Great pressure up front by Max Harris. Shots on the quarterback all night, very similar pressure package, but on the back end here, we saw Genesis Smith come in at the end, but that hold just before that from Javion Cole.
If everything goes right, he'll be Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year and won't be here next year, says his defensive coordinator about Genesis Smith. That's how lofty the hopes are for him in 2025. From a 2-back set, motion to the flat. And again, a miss from Luke Weaver. Would it be fair to say that even though Micah was wounded, he was pretty greedy? And I mean that in a good way with the first team reps. Like, he drew the line pretty quickly and said, I'm going to start this game. And so I don't know how much prep Luke got. It's not like they were preparing, plan 1B for tonight.
No, exactly. And listen, if Micah was truly going to play, which he wanted to in this game for a multitude of reasons, nationally televised, an opportunity against a big-time opponent, all those things make sense. But you're absolutely right. Not seeding over those reps means that Luke Weaver has had to go through a lot of mental reps and is now getting to physically put it in practice, probably for the first big-time reps with the ones for a lot of this week.
Around the left corner, it's Cordero close. This is the only road trip in August-September for Hawaii. They start with 4 of their first 5 on the island. The non-conference continues against Sam Houston next. That's a team that beat them last year. And then Portland State, if I saw correctly, got whacked by BYU today, I think. Then Fresno State and Air Force as Mountain West play gets underway. Hawaii's upcoming schedule presented by Modelo, and you would feel optimistic about what
Hawaii
Timmy
has
Chang
called
and
the
company
first time out of the half.
have the opportunity to do
timeout.
both non-conference next month and then into Mountain West play, but that's without knowing how much we'll see of Alejado from here.
And he's that important. I mean, we talk about this at all levels of football, but when you've got a starting quarterback that's a true difference maker, a program-changing kind of guy, and they believe he is, it's no disrespect to Luke Weaver, who we talked about, was a very successful junior college player, but that's the difference in your season. That's the difference of you being a team that could compete for bowl eligibility, compete in the Mountain West this year, and a team that's going to be trying to cobble together ways to survive. And Luke Weaver could step up and surprise you, and I'm sure he would have the support of Micah Alejado if he is forced into action as a starter. Great teammate, supports all these guys, a great cheerleader for everyone, I'm sure, but still just that talent drop off and that moxie that you've got at that position is really hard to play.
Seems like the arm might be there. I mean, this is such a timing and rhythm offense. I'd be curious to see what it looks like if indeed he does get a full week of practice.
And we saw him break that contain and scramble for a first down, so he's got mobility enough.
Need a yard on 3rd down. Here he is again, using the wheels to the 35. Needed 1, got 11, and the drive extended for Hawaii.
Great job there by Cordero coming out of the backfield as a blocker in that set. I mentioned you're starting to see the Luke Weaver introduction for Hawaii football, and a plus runner, you can say. Someone who can absolutely impact that element of the game.
Launches here. End zone, left side, and incomplete. Brandon White on the go ball. Jono Price taking credit for a nice play in the secondary for the Cats.
Getting a good look at the depth of that cornerback room, and just a great job here. Looked like White had some run initially, but Price just stays in phase, stays right there, and then plays the hands. You see him face guarding, but he's looking to see when do the hands go up from White. I'll put my hands up to block there. Great timing, and because that ball was trying to go over the top, didn't have to worry about drawing that pass interference penalty with his back turn.
Jono Price in his 2nd season here in Tucson, played in 4 games last year, all on the back half of the schedule. Down the line, Ashlock. Whew. Could not get away. I mean, you look at the coverage from Genesis Smith. I'd love to know where he started from to get out to the right numbers and complete that tackle.
Again, you're going to see him start all the way back here, and then watch how much ground he's able to cover. Just sorts right through that. I thought tackling was an area he might be able to improve on. Wasn't forced to make a physical play there. I think his presence alone, how quickly he was on the receiver, sort of made that play for him. But he's a guy skill set wise. Again, I shudder to say the name, but Kyle Hamilton-esque in terms of the range and versatility that you get out of that position. And Danny Gonzalez said he can play the post, he can play in coverage, he can play down near the line of scrimmage.
I got another one that confused me that I need you to explain after this. Weaver, pressure in his face, spins out of 1. Now on the edge, as receivers out of bounds. Trey Smith got the pressure. So what about Brian Urlacher, who goes back to Danny Gonzalez's college days? We got to talk about how Genesis Smith somehow compares to a Hall of Fame linebacker.
Well, they said with Urlacher, you never really asked him to go cover in a lot of those ways. They understood where his strengths were. And so similar position, but very different usages. Brian Urlacher obviously goes on to an incredible NFL career after that Genesis can only hope to replicate, but he's an incredible, rangy, versatile player. You see him pop off the tape right away. You see he moves different, moves like a Sunday player.
Must go here. 4th down hoist. Hawaii has to have it, and they do. Uliata as Weaver drops it in the bucket.
Great timing on the slot fade right here. You're going to see him working out, stems to the inside, breaks out. And just a phenomenal throw over the top. Great job tracking the ball. We talk about the lack of reps, the timing still on that throw, remarkable.
And a chance for the road team to get their first touchdown here. Inside of 10 to go. Longest play of the night for them as they connect for 26. Weaver only threw 1 incompletion last week. Week 0. A heavier dose here. Cats coming after him. Got the completion inside the 5. Showing off the arm talent and the mobility. Uliata his target again.
It's important for the rest of the team to see, though. Mike Alejado is forced to miss time. If I'm on this Hawaii sideline, I'm gaining confidence in what we're seeing from him in a game atmosphere on the road, battling through adversity with the plays that he's able to make in and out of structure right now.
His play caller and head coach learning more about him with each rep as well. The 11th play of this drive comes with David Cordero in the backfield. Weaver lets it go left side. Flags everywhere. It was Gavin Hunter in coverage.
They found a matchup they liked there. Going back at Gavin Hunter, same sort of idea, working out of the slot, going deep, and you see him getting his hands in around the collar before he turns around to try and play the ball. And that was what this offense was really missing early on in this game.
Number 23, defense. That foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
That vertical element, that ability to go and threaten Arizona downfield.
And I would tack on the mobile quarterback as well. Like, that's where Alejado did most of his damage, it felt like, in crunch time against Stanford, breaking that initial contain. And credit Arizona with having rush lane integrity tonight, but I think that dimension was certainly lacking against a more talented group up front from the Arizona Wildcats. See if Weaver can get the Rainbow Warriors in the end zone for the first time tonight. Uliata has been his favorite target. He's in the left slot. Keeper game. Oh, he dropped it. Landon Sims on the no-look pass, perhaps. See these over at McHale Center on campus here in Tucson.
Went back to the same play they had had success on before. Read option with Sims coming across from that sort of offset fullback position right here and sneaking out of the backside. So you get the end coming down and he tries to just boop it over the top.
What was that word?
The official term is boop.
Boop?
Yeah.
With the B.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. We use that in the meeting room all the time.
Okay,
just a
gotcha.
boop here, a boop there.
Boop touchdown?
Real inside the locker room stuff.
2nd and goal. Weaver lets it go. It's taken away. The 4th for the Cats tonight. Hunter on the return after he took the PI. Now he'll take the pick. What a response for the redshirt sophomore from Oahu. Of this defense and secondary, but as he continues to rehab his injury, Gavin Hunter, by all accounts, attacked his offseason knowing there were snaps to be had, and he comes away with a takeaway here. Fafita still running the offense for Arizona with a pre-snap penalty.
Take a look at the pick here and watch Gavin. It looks like it's man coverage on the outside, so you're going to see 2 out-breaking routes trying to get that pick underneath here. And instead, the man coverage, he drifts back right into the hole, sees the slant that could be going behind him, and is able to come up with a great play. Down in the red zone where those windows are tight, he gets to go over and stab a football once again, not cake.
His first career interception on the night of his first career start. Fafita spins one to the 30. Gio Richardson's in the box score. Talk about rehabbing an injury. Mike, he broke his fibula in the biggest game of his career, the 24 Open State Championship, 3 days after signing with U of A. Able to make it back to make this debut. They say he is incredibly smart and everything you want in a slot receiver. Little now route, put it back in his hands. Gio, upended. Maybe a confidence builder just to get hit down low too and survive it.
Oh, after an injury like that, that mental hurdle, that final one you have to clear is sizable. And they said, speaking of the mental, he got to campus right away and started digesting the playbook still, even with that injury.
Working quickly here, 3rd down and short. Able to punch a new first down. What do you think of this 3-headed back attack with Quincy Craig getting the most recent carry?
Yeah, I think it's a really unique group. You mentioned the strength of Craig, even though we saw the home run ability on display. Kedrick Risano has been running so tough between the tackles all night. We know Ishmael Mahdi, he can affect the game in multiple ways. A great dual threat, all-purpose back. A lot of fun toys for Seth Doege to play with.
Craig staying in, low snap, no problem. Fafita, here he goes again. Already hit the goalpost from 54, was after more. There's an injured Hawaii player down on the far side of the field.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
Connor Meyer. 6:50 remaining. Arizona in total control, 34-6, looking for more points off a takeaway. We'll check on the Hawaii injury when we continue. First of 3 consecutive home games to open 25 for Arizona, year 2 of the Brennan era. Here he is again. What a slice to his right. Beats the safety and nearly put it in the end zone again. Kona Moore keeps it out for now.
Boy, that cutback ability, you saw it on the touchdown run, and you see it again here. Started off going left, puts his foot in the ground at the second level, and then nearly able to outrun Kona Moore. Get them down inside the red zone again. It's a great opportunity. We call it 4-minute offense. You start to bleed the clock. You're working deeper into the play clock and trying to assert your will up front. Let that O-line go and establish a dominant tone.
He's over 100 now. Looking for his second touchdown to the perimeter. Flags come in as he crashes to the 3.
Holding there, trying to bounce another one on a man run scheme where you got some guys blocking down, the receivers trying to work on the outside. We saw the same thing happen the other end of the field.
Holding, offense, number 6, 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. First down.
Javin Nunu-Watley. You know what I thought of there seeing Brennan is how he said he was convinced that he wanted to hire Seth Doege when he learned of why Marshall became such a running team, right? He was curious, like, how does someone with these air raid influences become that identity last year? And his willingness to conform his principles around his talent made him the right fit for this moment, and you can see a lot of that on the grass tonight.
Yeah, it's a mark of a great coach, right? We saw for years a lot of coaches would just say, you're going to fit what I do. Square peg, round hole, you're going to run my system. The best coaches are able to look around at the players and their abilities and craft that, make that bespoke game plan and offense the way he did last year at Marshall.
Inside of 6 to go. With the man in motion, they run Craig through the right side. Dropped it. A pile inside the 15 as he absorbed contact.
What a hit.
Does Arizona still have it? They do.
Take another look. Getting up to the second level.
Kona Moore saved a touchdown, and he nearly took it away from Quincy Craig.
Looked like he put his head right on the football. and jarred that thing loose. Both of them dropping their head low, and give Kona Moore a lot of credit. Kept his head up the entire time, went low, but bowed his neck and made sure to deliver a safe hit.
Mahdi steps in to the air. Fafita can't find a target. Out the side door left. To the 5 and complete. Brandon Phelps getting some extra reps with no Chris Hudson tonight. Phelps was one of the few 24 early enrollees who stayed with Arizona after the coaching change.
Fafita continuing to dazzle inside the pocket. Calm, leaks out of the left the same way he did on the right. Just a great strong catch by Brandon Phelps. See his quarterback break contained, scramble rules get in effect, and you want to give a big target for your quarterback on the run.
Mahdi in the backfield, only a couple attempts so far tonight. 3rd and goal. They'll feed him here, and he's got his first Wildcat touchdown.
Statement drive from Ishmael Mahdi and this offensive line, capitalizing on that work we saw from Quincy Craig. This group feeding off each other. But starts with the big fellas up front. We'll give you a look after this point after of the kind of movement they've been getting off the ball all night. We showed it to you on that long touchdown run, and you'll see it again on this one that may close out the game for the Wildcats.
Tough snap here. Ian Wagner trying to make something out of nothing. We called Kona Moore's name a lot on this Arizona drive. He's going to kill that try.
Going back to the touchdown right here, watch the right guard and right tackle and the movement they get off the ball right here. Just going to lift their man directly out of the hole, create all that space. Mahdi puts his foot in the background. We call that depositing the defensive lineman into the linebacker's lap. They're able to get up there, get a hit on Giovanni Iovino. And then in the promised land for Mahdi.
You know, can I shout out the center? Kenna DeCambra as well. He's a redshirt senior. He's from Honolulu. He's a Hawaii transfer. And he's also replacing a 3-year starter in Josh Baker, who's now a volunteer assistant. So plugging a new center in addition to a new OC to work with Fafita. A lot of changing pieces around him, and he's navigated it beautifully.
Guy who never played center either. Played guard, played tackle last year at Hawaii. And so kicking inside, they said they thought early on maybe he could come in and play guard for them. But when they got him in at center, the fit was so natural. And he's a guy they said had that natural leadership ability to work in concert with Noah Fafita. As the center, I was a former center, you spend a lot of your time working with the quarterback, making sure you're seeing and identifying things the same way. And so to be able to come in as a new guy, not only to that position, but to this team and help direct traffic like that is very impressive.
8th touchback for Ian Wagner. May not have the arm, but he definitely has the leg.
No doubt about it. Take a look at the disruptive force on this defense. The takeaway started today with Max Harris, Chase Kennedy getting into the action. Then we saw the interception from Tay Brown off the failed screen attempt. Unfortunately, the botched exchange with Luke Weaver filling in at quarterback. And then just a great job sitting on the interception down in the red zone by Gavin Hunter. Turnovers aplenty, 4 on the sword. And we got the report from Allie before. They only have 6 footballs to Pierce, so we're steadily getting to the point. I think it was the Mets the other night ran out of fireworks after home runs. We're dangerously close.
Nearly got another hit on the quarterback here. Weaver able to get up near the 30. For the most they've had since their last meeting with Hawaii back in 2019. Just over 4 minutes to cover before the Wildcats can turn their attention to a Week 2 matchup with Weber State. And if the adage is true that teams make their greatest leaps between games 1 and 2, that bodes well for Brent Brennan and company. It's been a long wait to get back on their home field after a disappointing debut campaign in 24 and roster turnover to the tune of like 60+ players, about half the 2 deep that we saw tonight.
It's a great opportunity to coach players tough coming off a win, because everyone's going to feel good. Everyone's going to be able to get the back pats around campus. But I remember my 5th year senior year, we went on the road and played Navy in Ireland to start the season. We ended up going 12-0, and we ran up the score on Navy. We had a pretty good outing, and we came back. And my offensive line coach, Harry Heastan, lit us up in the meeting room that Monday because there were things that we had put on tape that still weren't up to our standard, even if the score looked like it was. And so for Arizona and for Brent Brennan, even as all night they've had the scoreboard to point to, plenty of great plays, I'm sure they're still going to find opportunities to reinforce that red line idea, those fundamental principles that they fall back on, and find some great coaching points.
Through the hands of Brandon White again for this Hawaii offense, leaves them in 2nd and 10. Luke Weaver stepping in for the injured Micah Alejado. Of course, he arrived injured, was able to grit his teeth and play through it for the better part of 3/4 of this game. Hope it's not anything that's going to cost him more than the final minutes of this loss on the road. Our first down hookup are nearly here. And our first chance to call Blaze Kamoku on the receiving end. We mentioned that Arizona upcoming slate. Let's take a look at it, presented by Modelo. It's a non-conference matchup with Kansas State. A team that looks vulnerable through 2 weeks, you'd have to say. So the Wildcat showdowns coming your way here in Tucson. Weaver under duress, could not get away. This U of A pass rush feasting on opening night. Malachi Bailey, Chancellor Owens, everybody eating.
Just one more than they can block, and that's on the running back. Right there, you saw him bought up inside. Needed to be aware on the edge. Christian Vaughn, who we talked about, Landon Sims is sort of your pass protection specialist. Since that time, eyes just in the wrong place, and a free runner in the quarterback's face makes that awfully difficult.
2-second differential here. Bows do not have to snap it before the 2-minute timeout, but they choose to, and that's how we hit it. It'll be 3rd down and a mile when we come back to close out week 1 with the Wildcats in Tucson, Arizona.
Timeout.
Tortillas were flying today in Lubbock, a 60-point blowout win over Pine Bluff, and another Arizona takeaway here against Hawaii. Jack Luttrell gets one now. Tie for the team lead with 3 last season, and it's a handful here on opening night for Arizona.
The sword getting a workout, running out of space again. Jack Luttrell, who at times last year as a redshirt freshman wore that green dot, but you're going to see it's been more of the same. Pressure there directly up the middle. Weaver's just trying to make a play at this point, backed up by a mile, and puts it up in the air, and Luttrell sitting there fielding it like a punt.
We'll call Malachi Bailey and Mays Pesse's name for the pressure that knocked him off that platform. Yeah, his first couple of picks came against someone named Shadur.
Pretty good player.
When he was making his first career start. Noah Fafita's night is through. We'll give you his numbers in a moment. He's backed up this year by Braden Locke, a redshirt junior. Mahdi's in the end zone, and he's going to boost his yard per carry here before we're done. We didn't get to see Wesley Yarbrough. There's a freshman waiting in the wings, too, another talented back. Meantime, everyone's drafting Bill for their fantasy teams, right?
I tell you what, I understand obviously things didn't go the way people wanted with that last year, the ineligibility issues hanging over the head all season long, but wow, what an impressive camp for him at Washington.
Talk about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Set up pretty well for a 7th rounder, am I right?
Call that a draft diamond.
I want to thank Derek Inucci and Brett Gleason, the sports information directors from Hawaii and Arizona, respectively. So integral to our process. We've enjoyed their company, their hospitality, and all the great information that they share with us about their programs and their student athletes that we get to relay to you. Fafita, 13 of 23, 161 yards passing and a touchdown. That feels relatively ho-hum, but I don't think it tells the story of just how totally in command he was tonight.
Certainly not. And if you're Arizona, that's a good thing, right? You were able to go in here and dominate by running a lot of your bread and butter stuff on offense and defense. Defensively, you had a few designer blitzes that you didn't have to deviate from. They worked all night, and so now you can go into the next bunch of weeks of your season, get ready for conference play, and still have plenty of looks that aren't on tape yet for opposing teams to get a view on.
He was sacked a couple of times. They had 5, now 6 negative plays.
Defense number 77, 15 yards at the end of the run, automatic first down.
Jamar Sakona with a face mask here. You know, third down, definitely going to be an area they're going to want to fine-tune week to week. Pass pro probably had some leaks. But I think overall they have to be pleased with 40 on the board and the way they ran the ball.
Absolutely. To be able to come out, any coaching staff, if you ask them, they were able to come out, establish a ground game, feel like your offensive line was opening up holes and providing time. That's a rock-solid foundation any team can build on.
Braden Locke with an knee in victory formation. And as always, a meaningful midfield greeting between Brent Brennan and Timmy Chang.
So much mutual respect and admiration